Well, no doubt a sight for sore eyes to be sure for the Regina Pats as Adam Brooks is suiting it up once again in the starting lineup for the Pats. He hasn't played since that enormous open ice hit he took from Turner Ottenbright in Game 1. 18 points out of the lineup the last 4 games, but he returns to go toe-to-toe with Matthew Barzell, who's really taken over a 3-point performance with 2 goals on Friday night in Game 5, and a point in all 15 playoff games for Seattle for Barzell. And he and Ethan Bear leading this series, both with 8 points, 2 more assists for Ethan on Friday, and he and Seattle looking to claim the title tonight in Regina in Game 6.
The championship has headed east, and the Thunderbirds have taken flight. Their high-powered offense exploded the last 2 games for the series lead. Seattle gets its first chance at being crowned in the Queen City, but the Pats have other plans in front of a sellout crowd. Game 6 from Regina, next on Shaw. Well, not surprisingly, sold out in mere minutes here at the Brandt Centre as the scene shifts once again to the Saskatchewan capital, and they're getting charged up at the Brandt Centre as their team fights for their lives and hoping for another game tomorrow night, which would be the 7th and deciding. Good evening and happy Mother's Day as well. Welcome to Levin Machinery, WHL on Shaw Access. Hello to those of you south of the border watching on this TV, and welcome to Bobdale Club's WHL Central. I'm Andy Neal. Well, there's no room for error now for the Regina Pats after winning Game 3 in Seattle of this WHL Championship Series against the Thunderbirds. The Pats have taken it on the chin in Games 4 and 5, and now are facing elimination for the 4th time in these playoffs. And if the Pats were to look at themselves in the mirror, they likely wouldn't like what they've seen in the last 2 games, surrendering 13 goals, 5 of which generated on a relentless Seattle power play. And of greater concern for the Pats is the fact that they've squandered the lead in each of the last 2 games, and no doubt they'll welcome the power of the Schwartz to be able to force a 7th and deciding game tomorrow night. Meantime, for the Seattle Thunderbirds, pretty simple combination, as easy as 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. A win tonight, and it will be their first WHL championship in their 40th year. And for their thoughts upstairs, we go to the men calling it. Dino Gabardis alongside Kevin Sawyer. Gentlemen.
Andy, thank you so kindly as always, and I echo Mr. Neal's sentiments. Without all the wonderful mothers and their great work, we wouldn't have spectacles like this to be a part of and to watch these exquisite young athletes. Is any mom any happier than Adam Brooks' mom, whose son returns tonight? I know this. The Pats couldn't be happier than to have this gentleman, who is second only to Sam Steele in regular season scoring, back for the first time since that hellacious hit that he took in Game 1.
Midway through Game 1 in this series, a devastating hit Brooks took, which erased him from the series up until this point. And this is a guy that scored 130 points in the regular season. He's got 18 in the postseason, 8 points in his last 3 games played in that Lethbridge series in round 3. He brings back so many things into the series. Balance to the top 2 lines. He'll center Wagner and all, but he brings back that belief system as well. They'll welcome him back.
And why not head next to Sam Steele, shutout for the first time in this series 2 nights ago in Game 5, but still tied for the postseason scoring title with 29 points.
2 goals, 5 points in this series, and he's been a guy that has shown that he can be a big game player, and he's done a lot of things really well. He's a competitive kid. He goes to the front of the net. He has a nose for the net. And again, 50 goals, 131 points in the regular season. He's been physical. He's been played hard against, and he's been hard to play against, but perhaps the one thing that he hasn't done, Pete, is has taken command of this series, and that is something that they'll look to Adam, or look to Sam Steele to do here in an elimination game here tonight.
I'm not sure anybody thought that the Seattle Thunderbirds would be looking at rookie goaltender Carl Stankowski to lead the way. Didn't even turn 17 till the 9th of March, and in this series, he's really never been flustered, playing well above his years.
It's quite impressive, to say the least. 34 shots of 37 he turned away in Game 5 in Seattle. 19 of 20 in the third period when he was getting absolutely shelled. He stands tall, and it's not always about how many saves he makes, it's about when he makes them. We've seen him turn away point blank, break away from guys like Wagner, from guys like Steele, and the 5'9" rookie goaltender at times seems like an absolute giant for his team.
Keegan Kolazar, the third-round pick of the Columbus Blue Jackets in 2015, has been a large contributor, not only in the last 2 games. He, like Steele, has 29 postseason points.
Well, you feel his presence in so many ways. 6'3", 225 pounds. He's got 6 points in his last 2 games, 2 goals, 4 assists. And you see examples of what he does on the body. Extremely physical. Boy, does he ever have a nice touch with the puck. He can pass it. He makes people around him better, and he can shoot it. Boy, you give him an opportunity to fire the puck. When he simplifies his game, get the puck, shoot the puck. Man, has he ever got a presence. And speaking of presence, he's got the presence of a bar bouncer. When he's on the ice, Scott, when he's on the charter plane, everybody notices.
Andy, we always take notice. Regina's faced elimination 3 times in round 2 against Swift Current. In their 40-year history, the Thunderbirds have never been in this position before. A chance to win the Ed Chenault Cup.
And as you know, the WHL champion has a date with the Erie Otters on Saturday at the MasterCard Memorial Cup in Windsor. One final spot to be determined, and Seattle can clinch that, as you know, tonight. Regina trying to play their second 7th game in these playoffs after the great second round against the Swift Current Broncos. And maybe a little bit of inspiration for the Pats, too. The last time the series went beyond 5 games was 2014 when Portland faced elimination in Game 6 and won against Edmonton that year, but Edmonton did come back to win that Game 7. Time for the national anthems and Game 6 from Regina.
We carry the PCLI crest proud on our jerseys each and every night. Fans, we now ask that you give these men and women in attendance and around the globe a round of applause and thank them for their service to our country. We now ask that you please rise, remove your headwear, and join Tegan Little Chief in the singing of the American National Anthem. Thank you, Tegan. We now ask that you please remain standing and unite as the Pats Regiment with Morgan Mayer as we all sing the Canadian National Anthem.
Oh. true north, strong and free, from far and wide, oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee. Oh Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
64-84 strong, hoping that that won't be the last time they hear the national anthem in this building this spring. We're set for game number 6, and John Paddock's team trails the best of 7 affair 3-2. Same story between the pipes. Carl Stankowski, the recently turned 17-year-old from Calgary, gets the call again. He's played every single second of the postseason after playing only 7 regular season games. At the other end, it is 20-year-old Winnipeg product Tyler Brown. He has yielded 12 goals in the last 2 games. And Adam Brooks will start for the Pats, their captain. Center ice, Steve Konowalchuk's crew trying to become the first ever Seattle Thunderbird team to capture the Ed Chynoweth Cup. Delighted to have you with us wherever you are looking in, both in our great country and the nation below us, the United States. As Turner Ottenbright, who delivered that big hit that knocked Adam Brooks out of the series, sends it in. And here comes Austin Wagner. He'll one-handed off the boards, takes a bump from Keegan Kolazar, starts with All and Brooks. Kolazar throws a hit on Harrison. This is Brooks. Hobbs one-times it for Chase Harrison. It's blocked as the Thunderbirds, Barzell scoots away. Barzell with Niles and Ottenbright. Ottenbright, big save, rebound, another stop. This one off Barzell, and Brown has to answer the bell twice and does so effectively. Jeff DeWitt, who scored a goal for Regina in Game 5 that allowed them to jump out to an early 2-0 advantage, only to have Seattle come back and win 7-4 on Friday night in Kent, Washington. Harrison plays it on the right wing boards. Hobbs holds his man up, and DeWitt with a good exit for Steele. To Dawson Leadall. His low wrister goes wide of the target, and Encher takes a solid jolt from Sergei Zborowski. Zborowski during the regular season, a league-leading +72. Steele shoots it in, but now Nick Henry has to clear the zone, and the puck belongs to Alexander True, with Ryan Gropp coming off back-to-back multi-point efforts in Game 4 and 5. Josh Mahura, who's been arguably as good as anyone for the Pats in this series, lost his footing. True after it, along with Robbie Holmes and Tyler Adams, who hails from right here in Regina, as Holmes for Slobosian, who moves down a notch in the lineup to play with Henry and Holmes. Henry on right wing looks at Holmes, finds Slobosian, who's done his best work in this playoffs in Game 6. The wrist shot, courtesy of Scholler, missed by a considerable margin, and Gropp at the end of a shift, content to send it to Regina territory.
A couple of early shots from the Regina Pats. They've been high and wide. We'll see if that's a trend. They've had a lot of success against Stankowski when they put the puck up to the top corners.
Remember, Stankowski, one of the smallest goaltenders, if not in the league, at just 5'9". These days, if you're not 6'2 or 6'3", it's hard to find a goalie at this level. And Ottenbright, they have not forgotten Game 1, nor will they ever. Play on, as Brown came out to play it, and Liedall backhands it, held in by Niles. Niles has been so good in the last 2 league championship series. Remember, Seattle lost last spring in 5 games to the eventual champion Brandon Wheat Kings, and the Pats will be guilty here of icing 4:40 in.
We saw the opening shift of the game, and Adam Brooks on the ice. Interesting, the detail that everybody was on him. Barzal, a hack and a whack right off the opening face-off. Ottenbright on him. They want to make sure that he doesn't get comfortable and ease his way back into this. They were in his grill early.
Moylan out with Enser and Volkin, and they have really helped to drive the Seattle bus to victories the last 2 games. Volkin, who has a couple of goals in the series, sends it in. Mahura's pass off the skate of Volkin is turning back. Ottawa draft pick Philip All backhands it just out of the reach of Wagner, who finally scored his first goal of the series, and now it's Enser. He has a step. Enser lost the handle as Brown able to kick it out.
Well, you want to see acceleration. This kid just continues to impress. So many dimensions to his game. Watch him shot out of a cannon right there. Are you kidding me? It's like he's on a conveyor belt. Wins that race, takes the puck to the net, creates a great quality scoring chance off the rush, and it all generated from his out-of-the-hole speed. Good job by Enser.
The co-captain along with Barzal from Englewood, Colorado. Born in the Michigan area. And I've seen that scene so many times as Groth off a clean face-off win. And Kevin, that's also been a story in the series as we look at Enser attempting to catch his breath.
Well, the face-off detail for me was a real big factor in Game 5 in Seattle. Seattle won 67% of their face-offs, and I'm not sure that they lost a specialty team's face-off. For a team that is pretty much given puck possession in the O-zone on the power play, you got to be good on the dots in the face-off circle.
Seattle with an early 4-1 edge as far as shots on goal are concerned. Austin Strand, that hit Henry in front, and Slobosian will backhand it out to the neutral zone. Zabrowski for Henry. Runs into Strand, who's gotten better and better as this series has gone along.
4 goals, 10 points. He had 3 points all of last season's playoff run. That's in 17 playoff games and 4 Memorial Cup.
That's when he was a member of the Red Deer Rebels, came over this season in a blockbuster-type trade. As it's cleared in by Holmes. Strand in a one-on-one deal that sent Brendan Schuldhaus the other direction. Harsh. Strand kept in by Harrison. Looks at Liedall. Harrison wrists it wide. Regina's best early chance belonged to a young man who's hoping this is not his last ever game. Chase Harrison.
Well, you look at the details and the things that coaches can do to make things easier for their teams. Here's a passive forecheck in the offensive zone, and watch the structure between all white jerseys. Everybody knows what their job is. Look at the middle top of your screen. That's Harrison. He knows to be on the defensive side because that's where the puck's coming. Good D-side position, good active stick, and that led right to a quality scoring chance. Nice job by all 5 defenders to turn defense into offense.
Harrison does have a goal in the series. It came in the Pats' 3-2 triumph in game number 3. This is all skating well early off the outside of the net. And Wagner collides with Stankowski, and the net must have come off.
Well, this isn't the first time, and it won't be the last, that you see number 27 White end up in the blue paint when the whistle goes. Pucks to the net, bodies to the net. Maybe nobody goes to the net faster or harder than Austin Wagner. We know that he's not playing at 100%, but this is what you got to do against a goaltender that's hot. Get the puck there and let him feel your presence.
Wagner tied for the postseason lead in goals with 15. Scored in game 5. It was his first goal. He also added an assist in the 7-4 loss at the hands of the Thunderbirds. And has the puck now. Tracking him down is Enser, the relentless centerman. might be my favorite adjective to describe Seattle's number 8. Now he picks the pocket of Zborowski, but there to cover up is Josh Mahura, who truly was involved in a blockbuster deal involving Red Deer. True from Copenhagen in Denmark. The cross corner shootout to Adams. Hesgraf in front. They just fail to make the connection as Brian Lochner sends it in. Lochner was shaken up in game number 5. Stays with it here. The young 16-year-old. Lochner back to the line. Scholler a shot. Good stop Stankowski. Buziak hooked down. And the Pats will enjoy the game's first power play.
Well, what do you need from your depth and your third line? You need them to bring energy. You need them to be good defensively, and to draw penalties is the icing on the cake. And this has been a bit of a story for me in this series. The third line for Seattle, we've talked about them tons, Enzer, Volkin, and whoever's on that right side. They've got between 9 and 12 points versus the 3 for this line for Regina, but this is a good sign for the depth. And Slobozhin now centering between Buziak and DeWitt. They had puck possession in the O-zone the entire time, moving their feet. Great job drawing a penalty with the Pats on their power play for the first time of the game.
Pats have certainly been proficient during this series on the power play. They were 1 out of 3 in game number 5. Brooks back on that power play unit. Hobbs, a wrist shot. He hits Liedall, who spins and fires it wide. Back to the line, and Hobbs for Mahura. One touch into the high slot towards Steele. And Volkin and Niles combined to clear it down the ice.
Well, a continuation on the penalty kill for Seattle. Very aggressive. They like to pressure up ice, but watch when Regina sets up in the offensive zone. They don't have much time or space.
Mahura, who has points in the last 4 games of this series, hooked up by Enzer, and Enzer able to clear it. Hobbs to Liedall, just onside. Steele, he rang it off the goal post. Steele hit the iron. Now Mahura will move in. Steele, he scores! Sam Steele's 3rd of the series, and the Pats are on the board.
We saw Sam Steele get the first goal of the game in game 4. And I'll tell you, one of the things that you expose is the middle of the ice. When you pressure as hard as the Seattle Thunderbirds do, they pressure to the wall, they pressure high and low. But watch Regina. When you move the puck and make a clean pass to the middle of the ice, that's the area that's soft. That's what Regina is looking for. Their trigger man's in the middle. There's Sam Steele in the second opportunity. The first one went off the plumbing, but he makes no mistake here. The all-important first goal belongs to Regina off the stick of Sam Steele.
After hitting the post, that one hit it as well, but it was on the inside and turned on the red light. Steele's 11th goal of the postseason and his 30th point to lead everyone. Liedall with DeWitt and Steele. Good move by Liedall. Kolazar drills him to the ice with authority, and back comes the big right winger. Scampers in after it against Zborowski. Kolazar loses his balance. DeWitt unable to clear, but the Pats, Zborowski does just that. Kolazar will shoot it into the corner where Niles wins the race. And Mahura turns away from pressure, and Barzell looks a little uncomfortable, or at least very tired. It's Brooks trying to spring Wagner at the line. Strand staples Wagner. Brooks, who looks pretty comfortable in his first game back, to Philip All. All working against Alexander True. Regina on the cycle. Brooks in front for Wagner. Couldn't transfer from skate to stick. Now Scholler a shot. Not sure that Stankowski saw it. Building involved again. They were a little nervous early. Who could blame them with their team's season on the line? Scholler lost his stick, and this, will it make it? It does. We are delighted to welcome back between the benches, Double D, Darren DuPont.
Hey, thanks, Pete. Special teams has been a big story already in this series, and it is through the first period here in game number 6. I talked to both coaches, and for Steve Konowalchuk, he's really happy with his team's discipline over the last 2 games. He said they found the right mix of aggression and discipline. For John Paddock, he says discipline, it goes without saying. Simply put, they need to stay out of the penalty box. Both teams have been able to score in the power play, but outside of game 3, it's worth noting, both teams each were shorthanded 4 times. It's been the team shorthanded the least that has won every game.
Seattle 5 for 12 on the power play in their last 2. Regina 2 for 6.
But do have a power play goal tonight that has opened the scoring, courtesy of Sam Steele. Robbie Holmes with Henry and Slobosian. Slobosian in game 6 against Swift Current, 4 points. In the clincher, game 6 against Lethbridge, a goal and 2 assists. He's enjoyed game 6 so far this spring, the Vanscoy product. As Henry shovels it out to center. Hobbs to Jonathan Smart. He had an assist in game 5. Moylinen shoots it in. Brown corrals it. He'll steer it on the boards. Off the stick of Liedall and out. Turner Ottenbright. From nearby Yorkton, couple of hours down the road. Ethan Bear, another Saskatchewan product. Into the corner. He has points in every game in this series. The Thunderbirds number 25.
Points in every game in this championship series, and he had 7 points in every game of last year's championship series as well.
Liedall. Behind the net, it's Steele, the goal-getter. Steele to the right point. Zabrowski patiently feathers it back down low for the aforementioned Steele. From Sherwood Park, shot by Mahura. Stankowski involved in traffic. Regains his balance. These are the shifts Regina would like more of. But Ottenbright stays with Liedall, and Barzell finds Kolazar. 6 points in the last 2 games of this set. Working against Mahura. Still with it. Intercepted by Wagner, and here he comes in full flight. But Groff helps to double team him along with Jared Tishka. Mahura, watch closely. Trying to turn away from pressure. Hooks up with All, and All taps it towards Wagner. Upended by Hyman. Tishka for Adams. All is there. Now Brooks has it. Adam Brooks looks at All. Good stick by Barzell. Excellent defensive read by Seattle's number 13. Brooks is back. Steele is on the board in game 6. Regina needs to win to force a game 7.
With Regina Pat's head coach John Paddock. John, you've had leads in this series. What have you seen on film that you need to be better at tonight?
Well, you just got to be good right after a goal scored for or against. I mean, that's sort of, it just seems like natural, but that's when we've been hurt by their goals. They've scored them quick, or they've scored right after we've scored.
We know Adam Brooks is an explosive offensive talent for you and a leader, but what does it do for you managing your lineup, having him back tonight?
Well, it creates a little, the depth that we had going into the playoffs without Lecision. We have that lineup, so it's big just to put the pecking order in order, and of course it's big because he's a top player.
John, appreciate this. Thank you.
Thank you.
Pete?
I think it's fair to say that Regina would be pleased with all starts in this series. Their first 10 minutes has been excellent, and to me the key is they get the puck down low and they cycle, and not just cycle the puck, but they cycle it to the net. And when you do that, you can come out the weak side. Nothing is harder to defend as a defenseman than that. I think Regina's been hitting on that detail. It's making it favorable for the white jerseys to play with the puck on their stick in the O-zone.
Sam Steele's 11th of the playoffs on the power play of the Pats in front. 1-0 shots on goal, 5-3 in favor of Seattle as Hobbs lays out Volkin. Hobbs with an assist on that power play goal as well. Wagner racing against Ethan Bear. Nice tight turn by the Edmonton 5th rounder. Hobbs to center, and Ottenbright clears it in. All didn't get to center when he backhanded it in, and thus the faceoff will come back deep in Regina territory.
A lot of good signs tonight for the Regina Pats, and here's one of them. Is You're going to see Connor Hobbs coming right off of the face-off, starting on time, and to me, that's what we need to see more of. We know what he can do offensively, but to me, he's got to play the villain a little bit, doesn't he? That physical presence in the back end to make everybody with a dark jersey kind of look over their shoulder just a little bit. We've seen it in the past with a huge hit in Game 5 against Gropp. A real nice job with his presence by Connor Hobbs.
Hobbs with his 5th point of the series, 85 during the regular season to lead all defensemen, now tied with Ethan Bear in the playoffs. Both have 24. This is Aaron Hyman, the big defenseman from Calgary, to Barzal. Barzal with a point in every playoff game, behind his back and off his skate. Out there with Niles. Niles with 8 playoff goals. To Barzal, Zabrowski on him. Kept alive at the line by Tishka, and DeWitt with a lot of responsibility tonight, elevated in his role, playing with Liedall and Steele at least to start, and he feeds Steele, blocked up by Hyman. Jumps over the stick of Liedall, and back comes Barzal with Kolazar and Niles. Kolazar turns away at the end of his shift. Liedall does get the center before he flips it in, and Strand, the Calgary product, leaves it for Reese Harsh. He turned 18 in January. He hails from Grand Prairie. True for Adams. Tyler Adams works against Harrison. The Winnipegger does a nice job, but Adams stays with it. Drop a chance, and Brown with an excellent glove save.
Well, a quality chance from one of the quality players on the Seattle Thunderbirds. Ryan Gropp is looking for his 6th of the postseason. When you look at the top players from both teams, we see another look at this. Good defensive play by Harrison, as Seattle does a great job getting the puck off the wall into a dangerous area for a shot on net. Talk about your best players being your best players. It would be a fair statement to say, wouldn't it, Mr. Lubardius? The top players for Seattle have been firing. You can see the guys point per game or more during the playoffs and in the series for Seattle. They've got all their big horses running. Regina, the only guy, Steele, with 1.32 in the playoffs. He's got a point a game coming into tonight. That's the only guy.
Steve Konowalchuk's team back for a second crack in as many years. Have certainly enjoyed dealing with him and his staff in the last 2 league finals. As a matter of fact, both coaching staffs have just been absolutely fabulous in terms of their cooperation with us. So we thank them very much. Talking about Regina's forwards, with Brooks back in the lineup tonight, 5 30-goal or more getters during the course of the regular season, yet Steele is the only player on their team amongst the forwards with more than 1 goal.
Well, and coming into tonight's game, the leading scorer in this series is a defenseman in Josh Mahura, who has 3 goals, 6 points coming into Game 6.
Bear rips it in. Remember, he is not at 100%, dealing with a left hand injury that forced him out of 3 games of the Western Conference Championship set versus Kelowna, but he has more than answered the bell. I cannot tell you how impressed I have been with him the last 2 playoff years.
A 5th round pick, 5th round signed draft pick to the Edmonton Oilers, and this is Scott. Don't forget, he came into this series off of an injury. We weren't sure how he was going to be able to handle the puck, how he was going to be able to shoot the puck. Well, he answered those questions early in Game 1 with an absolute missile on the power play, and he hasn't looked back since.
John Paddock, with last change, has wanted Steele in his line against Barzal. Generally, the defenseman is Kolazar off a face-off. A scramble draw forces Brown to make another quality stop.
67% in Game 5 on the face-offs, and good teams win face-offs as a unit of 5, and even on 50-50 pucks, who wants it more? That big body of Kolazar shields the puck, finds it in his feet, and that translated to a good quick shot in tight.
Bear fakes it, then going to his knees to block it was Liedall. Steele pressured off the stick of Barzal right out in front, but Mahura, the only player there. Here's Steele as he hits the line. Steele with a goal already. Chasing him is Ottenbright. Backhands it in front, where Bear knocks it down and just misses Kolazar. 8-3, Seattle the shots. Regina have the lone goal. Kolazar, nifty move against Henry, who lost his balance. Henry from Portage La Prairie. Ottenbright shoots it in on Brown, who leaves it for Hobbs. Hobbs to Henry. And cleared right back in by the Thunderbirds. Harrison delivers it away from pressure. Now Slobosian. Henry trying to track it down against Tishka, who lost an edge. So did Henry, though, as Slobosian knocks down big Alexander True. Slobosian back to the line and Hobbs. Hobbs towards Slobosian, who's in a tussle with True, and a good one. Now they reverse sides. Harrison off the end boards. Slobosian on the Regina cycle. Henry supported by Holmes, whose stock has risen in this postseason.
Exactly what you want from your depth line. This is where they want to put the game on the wall. Nice job by that third line for the pass.
Holmes against Hyman. Couple of big customers. Look at the work ethic of Wyatt Slobosian. Harrison trying to track down Matthew Wedman. Wagner hoping to hold it in against an exhausted Tishka, who just wants a change. Brock to Hyman. Off the glass and out as Seattle starting to make some changes, and Tishka and Hyman off the ice. Wagner must have got a piece of it and took a solid run at Ottenbright. Moylinnen dealing with Brooks. All trying to beat Enser in a 50-50 puck battle. That's been hard to do, despite the size he gives up. But he's built like a fire hydrant. Matter of fact, this whole Seattle line is like 3 fire hydrants.
They're like triplets. They look alike, they skate alike, they battle alike.
Scholler. Watched by Enser, reverses, but Volkin awaits. Zabrowski trying to stay on the right side. Volkin. Down low towards Kolazar as the Barzell line comes back out. Kolazar blocked by Scholler. Kolazar, Niles, just over top of the net. Seattle pressing for an equalizer. Barzell, not sure if it made it through to the net or not. All Seattle on this shift, but it came outside the line. Harsh unable to keep it in. Brooks wants Liedall at the line and has him. Liedall to Henry. Back out comes Steele. Barzell intercepted by Liedall. To Hobbs, wrist shot, hits Henry in the back of the pants. Steele wins a battle against Tishka. His centering pass in Niles. Good defensive play, fails to clear it. Held in by Mahura. Barzell at the end of his shift. Runs into Liedall, but the puck comes outside the line. Look at these two teams again, battle for every inch of ice. And we're going to have at least one penalty, if not 2.
Well, you got 2 teams right now playing with spirit. I'll tell you what, Steve Konowalchuk and all the Seattle Thunderbirds up on their feet after a hit on Barzell from Liedall. I'll tell you what, saddle up and let her buck, boys, because that's how you win hockey games in the postseason. Taking hits, giving hits, going after the other team's best players. You got to be a man if you want to play in the man time of the year, and boy, we're seeing examples of that from both sides of the ice tonight.
With 2:16 to go, there's only one infraction called, and it goes to Dawson Liedall, hoping this is not his last junior hockey game. The 21-year-old from Saskatoon for cross-checking. And that explosive Seattle power play that connected 3 times on 5 tries in the win on Friday night goes to work. Now Regina doesn't have to start against the Barzell line because they were out on the previous shift. So it's the second group for Steve Konowalchuk's team. Enser carries in. Runs into Zabrowski. Volkin lays a shoulder on him, and Enser comes away with a loose puck to Moilinen from Sipu in Finland. His Sami Moilinen dangerous pass, but it made its way through to Mahura. Regina has 4 shorthanded goals in these playoffs. Steele carries in. Stutter step. Steele thought about shooting it, and now will slide it and hooks up with Brooks. Brooks to Hobbs. Off the outside of the net, courtesy of Connor Hobbs. He has it again, and he'll backpedal the Washington 5th rounder.
Well, you talk about adjustments and in-game adjustments. We've seen how the Regina Pats have killed passively right throughout the course of this series. They're pressuring here tonight, ladies and gentlemen, and you know what's happening? They're killing penalties in the offensive zone. Nice job, nice adjustment by the Pats.
Mahura with a chance to clear, fan, but it went to Brooks, and he'll shoot it down the ice. 30 to go in the Seattle power play. 9 for 22 in the series. Gropp accepts it on left wing. Drops it off for Bear. Looks at Kolazar. Feeds it to him. Back to Bear, who quarterbacks this power play. Gropp. Barzell. Matthew Barzell saucers it to Bear. Back to Barzell. They play catch. Gropp into the slot. True. Robbed by Brown as the penalty to lead all has expired. Tyler Brown has been crucial in this first period for Regina. Lead all against Bear. And that'll do it for period number 1 of game number 6 as they rise to their feet in appreciation at a sold-out Brandt Centre.
What a fantastic finish to a fantastic first. And here's that power play setup from Seattle. A bit of a breakdown. We saw that pressure from Regina early. There was an opportunity and Seattle exposed it with good passing starting from Barzell, no surprise. But how about the big save? This is what you need your goaltender to do, is come up with big saves, timely saves. That's what Brown does to close out the first.
Tyler Brown, they believe he made 10 of them in the opening period. Sam Steele scored the period's only goal, and he is with our Darren DuPont.
Yeah, thanks, Pete. We'll start Sam Steele. Take me through that opening power play goal.
Yeah, we, Mahura made a nice play to the soft area in the slot and just put it home. It's just a big power play goal.
Describe the intensity of this opening period, because you're out of breath. It's a very fast, physical period. How did you see it on the ice?
Yeah, we're fighting for our lives right now, so we got to come hard. They're coming hard too, so this is a good period of playoff hockey. You
guys have been in this situation before. What do you take from that series and being down against Swift Current that you can bring into Game 6 tonight?
Yeah, we learned that you're never out of the fight, and that's our attitude coming into this game. It's the biggest game of a lot of our guys' careers, so we're just trying to even it up here.
What have you guys not done well when you've had the lead earlier on in this series that you need to do better tonight?
It's hard to say. I feel like we lost focus a couple times throughout those games, so we're just going to try to keep playing the game we're playing right now and keep pressing.
How much do you personally, as one of the top players in this league, enjoy playing and the moment here and the responsibility of being a top player when your team's down in the series?
Yeah, you always want to help out your team, and like you said, we're down in the series, so guys got to step up, and I'm just trying to do that.
Sam, appreciate it here. Thank you. Sam Steele has the Pats out in front, 1-0 through 20 minutes here in game number 6 from Regina. We'll continue. Andy Neal on the other side with the intermission of the WHL Championship Series.
Well, the 5th game in a row that the Regina Pats have broken the ice, and the 3rd time of those 5 that it's Sam Steele scoring his 11th. He's the playoff scoring leader with 30 points, and Regina facing elimination, leading through 1. Welcome back to Bob Dell Gloves WHL Central. Joined again by Jeff Hodgers alongside Joey Kenward, and we also see the return tonight, gentlemen, of Adam Brooks. We weren't sure if he would come back, but tonight, Jeff, he is. What's the impact of 77 in white being back for Regina?
Well, what a difference he's made as he came in. Everybody just kind of looks more comfortable Philip All, that's the best side period I've seen him play in a long time. All of a sudden, Jeff DeWitt, he jumps up with Sam Steele. It looks like a team that you got your best player back in. Everyone is slotted where they should be. They had some big shifts. Your fourth line gets one shift early. They draw a penalty. They score in that power play. Just how you draw it out, Adam Brooks has come back, and you can tell he's a leader. They have a lot of confidence when he's playing. And Adam Brooks, he looks good. Like, he looks good with the puck. He doesn't look nervous. He doesn't look apprehensive. Adam Brooks has came back, and he's made an impact right away.
5 goals, 13 assists so far this postseason for the Toronto Maple Leafs prospect. 4 of his goals this year in the playoffs have come on the power play. And although he returns and gives his team a boost, I think it also gives this overcapacity, sold-out crowd a boost. Let's be honest, even after the 1-0 goal, might not come across it on television, but it was still pretty tense here at the Brandt Centre. But I think that first period penalty kill by Regina to keep the Thunderbirds at bay, and for Tyler Brown to make that big stop late in period 1, it's probably calmed a lot of the nerves here through 20 minutes.
Well, this is a situation that the Regina Pats know well. This is their 4th elimination game that they have faced, and it's a team that's found a way to get it done.
Well, they really have. They were in first place all year. They scored 250 goals, the top scoring team in the Western Hockey League. They didn't find themselves in this position a lot, but down 3-1 to Swift Current. Here's in Game 5 where it all kind of started. Game 6, some big save by Tyler Brown. It's absolutely been huge. Here, Game 7, Philip Hall comes through with a big goal, able to move on. Lethbridge, we talked about, down 1-0, then down 2-1, and found a way to come back. There's Jeff DeWitt with a big goal from him. So the Regina Pats, not in very unfamiliar territory, and looking for guys to step up. And by the start of the first period, well on their way to starting another comeback.
And obviously not territory you want to be in the postseason, but when they have, they're a perfect 3-0, having responded in victories 5, 6, and 7 against the Broncos in round number 2, and in those 3 games where they've faced an exit from the playoffs, 13 goals for, only 6 against. So it's a good blend of offense and defense when they've been in these high-pressure situations.
Josh Mahura's got another point, so he runs his point streak now to 5 with the assist on the Sam Steele goal. Jeff?
Coming into the series, there was a lot of talk of the defensemen. Most of it was on Ethan Bear and Connor Hobbs. And Josh Mahura has been absolutely lights out. Right from the start, had the 2 big goals in Game 2, including the overtime winner. He was an absolute beast in that game. We'll see here. That was the first game on a power play goal, and then the second of the game on the power play and the Coulsar penalties. There's your game winner. Really got the Pats fired up. And you know what? He's just been an absolute dominant player all series. Josh Mahura, the 3rd-round pick of the Anaheim Ducks, has surprised a lot of people, even me, in the ability that he has. His skating ability is lights out.
7 goals from Mahura. That leads all blue liners in that department in the WHL playoffs. He's got 3 goals and 4 helpers now in this series. And very quietly, I think if people didn't know who Josh Mahura was going into this WHL final, he's done a pretty good job considering the big names on the blue line for both teams. Right now, he leads all of them right now in series scoring.
Well, Joey, the Thunderbirds' scoring depth, it's become a big story in this series, particularly after the wins in games 4 and 5.
Yeah, and you knew a lot of the focus inside that Pats locker room would be on the likes of Matthew Barzal and Keegan Colasar and Ryan Gropp going into round number 4. But it's been those depth players for the Thunderbirds that have been able to put this game 60, now 40 minutes away potentially from a WHL crown. Donovan Niles and Nolan Volcom scored big goals in games 4 and 5. Sammy Moilanen on a wraparound cashed in with another goal in this series. But the big name for me that has really brought his game to another level is that guy. And although he took a penalty in the first period, Alexander True is certainly catching the eyes of scouts that have watched in the past couple of years in this league, and he's gone through 2 NHL drafts without having an NHL team call his name out. 7 power play goals so far in the postseason. And Jeff, you know as much as anybody that you need guys deep down your roster to chip in offensively if you want to hoist a trophy at the end of the year.
Oh, very much. And what those 3 guys give you is flexibility. You look at Donovan Niles in the lineup. He goes from the 3rd line tonight. He's playing on the 1st line. He doesn't look out of place. He fits right in. You talk about Vulcan. He went 6 games without a goal. All of a sudden, he's got goals in back-to-back games. He's starting to generate. And True, I don't know what you can say about him. He is slotted exactly where you'd want on a championship team. Your 3rd-line centerman. He can play in the power play. He's tough to play against. He's got size. He's got range. you know, he has to be very attractive to NHL teams.
The Thunderbirds forwards have combined for 16 goals in this series. Sam Steele has made it 8 for Regina forwards entering period 2.
Well, and one of those forwards has really been playing well, Joey. Matt Barzal, we saw what he did in Seattle and just how he controls the tempo when the puck's on his stick.
The game, when he's on the ice, goes at the pace that he wants it to. He wants to go high octane. It's hard to contain him. If he wants to slow things down, he's more than capable of slowing things down. Here's a good example. Game 1, setting up Ethan Bear on the power play. Barzal has points in 15 straight playoff games. 7 goals, 18 helpers. And the scary thing for the Regina Pats defense is that he has just found the back of the net twice in game number 5. And when you've got your most dynamic forward, who's known as one of the best setup men, Jeff, in the Canadian Hockey League, now scoring goals, that makes him that much more dangerous whenever he hops over the boards.
Well, it really does. I think Regina Pats, it was all about taking away the passing lanes with Barzal. And I think probably in the first 3 games, 4 games, he had more time to do more opportunities to shoot, and he never took those shots. I'm sure the coaching staff showed him some video, said, look, if they're going to back off, you know, help yourself. If you can shoot that puck, he scored 2 goals, as you mentioned, and now all of a sudden it changes your whole defense against them. You know, you backed off before thinking he'd pass first, but now with 2 goals, you also have to play tight enough to take away that shot.
Shots were 10-3 in that opening period for Seattle, and Tyler Brown, who gave up the 12 goals. There was an empty net goal, but big bounce back for him tonight, Jeff, here in game 1 facing those 10.
Well, and Tyler Brown has bounced back from every challenge he's had all year, and he's just been lights out. Regina Pats goaltender coming in after the trade deadline, you knew it was his net, and he's done nothing but surprise. Here was take a look at Stankowski on the other end, who's been absolutely phenomenal, made some big saves. Game 1 in this building, unbelievable. Back in Seattle, stopped Sam Steele on a penalty shot. And now we'll take a look here at Brown and some of the saves he's made. But both goaltenders coming in with a lot to prove these playoffs. Stankowski only played a few regular season games. Tyler Brown with the job of leading this high-powered offense deep into the playoffs. And as we've mentioned, whenever there has been a bit of setbacks or they need him to step up, he's been there.
And as those 3 elimination games that Regina had against Swift Current, Brown was in between the pipes for every one of them and allowed an average of 2 against. I don't think there's any question that when this game is said and done, if the Regina Pats are coming out on top, Brown is likely going to be coming out onto the ice as one of the 3 stars.
Well, when it comes to stock rising in this series, Joey, who are you looking at?
A lot of players, and we're talking about players that weren't drafted, have gone into their overage years as free agents, but not only what they've done here through 5+ games of the WHL Championship, but here in the Western Hockey League postseason, there's a lot of players that are warranted of the success they're getting. Here's Dawson Liedl, who has just recently signed a contract with the New York Rangers. A goal and 3 assists in this series, but he's got 12 goals and 12 helpers in the playoffs. We mentioned Alexander True. 3 goals, 2 assists already here against Regina in the playoffs. 21 points entering tonight's game. That's fantastic for a player who's gone through 2 drafts and has been the leading forward scorer in this series. And then there's Turner Ottenbright, who we all know and we've already seen in this series and all playoffs. His strong physical presence is his bread and butter. But Jeff, he's got 2 goals in this series, 3 in the playoffs. Not bad considering he had just 7 in the regular season. And what's impressed me the most, he's a +5 in this championship series. And when you're an offensive or a strong physical defenseman who's able to chip in some offense, that's a pretty good combo to have at this time of year.
Well, it really is. You talked about +5 in this series, +19 in the playoffs, +45 during the regular season, plus that intimidating presence he brings. You know, he's went to tryouts the last 2 years. You know, he talked to NHL scouts about him, and, you know, one of the scouts said, you know what, sometimes guys just have to wear you out. And by that means, you just keep doing the right thing, you just keep showing up. Every time you look down, there's Turner Ottenbright. He's shutting down one of the top players. He's a plus player. Sooner or later, they wear you out and you say, you know what, we got to give this kid a chance. And, you know, to your point on Alexander True, same thing with his draft stock. Dawson Liedl comes into the playoffs, as you mentioned, unsigned, and you got to wonder, Swift Current Series down 3 games to 1. If they don't find a way to come back, you know, he has that 4-goal performance, you know, winning that series, being down against Lethbridge. Are those playoff wins part of the reason why he has a contract right now?
Well, we've only got about 20 seconds. Jeff wanted to ask about the second period and the fact that Regina's blown leads after having the first goal each of the last 4 games, the last 2 in particular.
Number one topic, Davis, Roos, John Paddock. Keep your foot on the gas, guys. We haven't done anything. We've had a great period. Keep your foot on the gas and do not change a thing.
And if you're the Seattle Thunderbirds, Steve Konowalchuk would be saying to his locker room, guys, your best periods in this playoff series have been your second periods, and don't think that's not being thought about by the visiting team coming onto the ice in a few minutes.
Well, they're trailing 1-0 through 1 here in Game 6, the first elimination game of this WHL Championship here on Levin Machinery, WHL on Shaw Access, and this TV. Back in Regina, getting set for the second period of Game 6 of the championship. 3/4 of the Memorial Cup field is set. The St. John Sea Dogs sweeping the Armada in the QMJHL Championship. On Friday, the Erie Otters coming from behind, winning in overtime to take Game 5 and the series over Mississauga. And the Windsor Spitfires, who were eliminated in round 1 by the London Knights. They haven't played since then. They will play Friday night against Mississauga. Second period, and here are Peter and Kevin.
Thank you so kindly as always, Andy. We wondered what a difference Adam Brooks might make returning for the first time in this series since game number 1. How did you feel about his first 20 minutes?
Presence felt. Everybody knew that he was on the ice, and he commands the respect from the other teams. How about Barzell off the opening face-off, a hack and a whack? Ottenbright, they don't want him to feel comfortable. They want him to shy away. Well, I tell you, he didn't do that one bit. He's finishing checks for himself. He's been in the mix, and how about the adjustments Regina's made? This is a 5-man unit defending. They're being taught well, they're executing, and it led to an excellent offensive opportunity. We talked about Brooks being back. It puts everybody back in their spots. Slobozhin now centering this third line, and they're doing exactly what they need to do. Put the puck on the wall, win battles, generate energy, and I'll tell you what, they did an excellent job of that through 20 minutes of play. Well done by them. And on the power play, that middle of the area would be the area that would be exposed if any. Sam Steele makes no mistakes. 1-for-1 on the power play. How about face-offs? We talked about it in Game 5. Specialty team win the face-off clear at 200 feet, and they killed it up ice. Talking about best players being your best players. Well, you got to be your hardest on the other team's best players. You have to have that kick the door off the hinge mentality. That's what I felt from both teams in that first period. It was a doozy.
Sam Steele's 11th of the playoffs was a power play goal at 7:18. He has 6 points in the series. And period 2 underway in game number 6. Seattle tonight with a win would capture their first ever Western Hockey League title. The Pats want to force game 7 tomorrow.
Well, a very different feel for Seattle after the first period in this game versus game number 5 as they dominated the second 10 periods of game 5 in Seattle. We're seeing a new, energized, revived Regina Pats team, and you can tell and you'll know for sure that the Seattle Thunderbirds will have to be at their best if they want to close this series out here tonight.
Well, being in front after 2 periods, both these teams have really excelled. Generally, if you look at most levels of hockey, that is the case. And we have 19:45 till we get to that particular spot.
Scoring first hasn't necessarily told the same tale. We've seen Regina come up with a couple of quick goals earlier in game 5, and that didn't mean or translate to a win for them.
Bear upends Philip Ahl. He's from Sweden. Volkan Enser and Moylinen. Moylinen carries in against Harrison. Volkan's try is blocked, and here comes Wagner racing in, puts on the brakes. Nice poke check by Ottenbright, and now at the other end it's Enser. Enser darts around Harrison, takes a bit of a slash, and there will be a Regina penalty 49 seconds into period 2.
Well, end-to-end, great opportunity from Wagner, and when you're beat defensively, Ottenbright shows a really good stick to negate the chance from Wagner. Well, 200 feet away, how about the skill from Enser as he gets to the middle of the ice? He's in a quality area to shoot the puck. I think it's Adam Brooks who comes in with the backhand slash. We're going to get a great look at it here. Enser, great move, get to the middle of the ice. There's the slash from Brooks. No quality shot against, and that's going to be a penalty. less than a minute in here to the second period.
Scott Entzer has 2 assists in the series. He had 3 in the championship final. Still looking for his first goal. Seattle looking for that period in Game 6, and they're on the power play where they've made a lot of hay. Gropp into the slot, flashes true, and he has 7 of his 11 goals on the power play in the playoffs. Gropp, a wrist shot. Zabrowski went down to block that. Barzal pressured. Bear, nice hustle to get to it. Zabrowski, another attempt to clear, but Gropp awaits and finds Ethan Bear. To Barzal. Barzal, now Gropp, wrist shot, blockered away by Tyler Brown.
Well, it's still a passive box by the Regina pass, but notice when the puck gets to the half wall, it's either Lidahl or Steele who want to cut it in half. Here it is, D to D down to the half wall, watch 71. He's now going to give passive pressure, saying, we want to take away the top. The seam is broken with a good pass by Barzal, and I think that's what Regina's willing to give up. Give up the top, pressure to the half wall. They're going to rely on their defensemen to block shots, like we see from Zabrowski, and their goaltender to make quality saves when the shots come from the perimeter.
Ryan Gropp thwarted that time, looking for his 3rd goal in as many games. The New York Rangers second rounder in 2015 remains out with True, Kolesar, Barzal, and Bear. Another Seattle face-off win, but not as clean as others have been, but they control nonetheless. Bear, I'm not sure Brown saw it until the last second. Barzal looks down low at Kolesar. In the crease, here's Gropp, and Brown with a splendid save. It may have gone off the outside of the post. Seattle so dangerous. 35+% for the playoffs with a man advantage. It's Bear to Gropp, who just missed seconds ago. Barzal, 2 goals in game number 5. True, kicked away by Brown. Now Kolesar takes it to the front and finally swept away by Austin Wagner.
Well, there's executing a game plan, and right now Seattle's making it difficult for Regina to do that, but then there's desperation. You need both to kill penalties, and at the end, that clear came from a desperate play, net front.
Seattle with 15 shots in the game to Regina's 4. Here they come at the tail end of the power play. Entzer fans on a pass. Steele taps it into the corner, and the Pats will kill off the penalty to Brooks. Seattle is 0 for 2, and Barzal wallops Steele. Remains on the ice. He's been out for over 2 minutes, but that is usual for number 13 when his team has a power play. Lidahl. Knocked away by Moylanen. Volkin in the lane with Scholler. Moylanen. Scholler in the lane again to block it. Mahura to Liam Scholler, and he'll rim it in. Stankowski can't corral it behind the cage. Entzer versus Brooks to Moylanen, and he sends it to center, only to have Smart rifle it right back in. Volkin carries the other direction. Moylanen first to it for Volkin. Hobbs wants control of his stick. Strand to his partner Tishka. Right back to Austin Strand. Blocked, this time by All, and Brooks the outlet. Maybe a 2-on-1 or at least 2-on-2 develops. With Wagner, backhands it, big rebound, but right to True, ahead for Adams. Tyler Adams has a goal in the series. Puts on the brakes against Hobbs. To True. Back to Strand. For Tishka, lots of traffic in front, tipped by Gropp, just wide. Seattle continues to apply pressure. Bear didn't get all of it. Kicked out by Brown. And it's Wagner off the boards and out. Kevin, does it feel like the Pats are just hanging on here a little in the second?
With their fingernails, shot 16-5 right now. Seattle doing great job execution-wise. They're winning battles on the wall. They just won a face-off in the O zone with 5 guys. It took all 5 jerseys to win that puck, and they really haven't left the zone since.
10-3 was the edge in shots after 1 period. Bear to Ottenbright. They've been an excellent pairing, and Brown wants to shut things down.
Well, at times, and I thought in that first penalty kill in the first period for Regina, they were excellent, and it was because they pressured. Well, here they're kind of caught in the middle of two things. They're passive, and then they pressure, and when you do that, sometimes seams are open, and look at the pass from Barzell. That is not what Regina is looking for, to break a seam through the middle and make your goaltender have to push from post to post, but that's what Brown does. And how about him flashing the leather? He's made 2 game-changing saves tonight so far. They've needed him to be big here, particularly in the last couple of shifts, and he has been.
Shot from Bear makes its way through, and another save by Tyler Brown. Between the benches, here's Darren again.
Hey, thanks, Pete. I talked to Steve Konowalchuk prior to tonight's game just about the magnitude of the moment that his team is in. It is the first opportunity in 3 appearances here in the Western Hockey League Championship Series that they have a chance to win it all. And I asked him, you know, about the magnitude of the game. He said it's definitely in the room, but it's not something they're talking about it. And his job really is to try and downplay it. Take care of business tonight, and everything will fall into place. And so far, it seems to work. They've had a great series in this championship final, guys.
You always hear coaches talking about the process, stick to the game plan, and when you do that, it can take the heat off of a high-pressure situation for sure.
In these games, isn't it all about staying in the moment? Barzell, he's played in several big games, including a shootout setback to the United States in this year's World Junior Final in Montreal.
We're talking about these last couple of shifts for Seattle. They've been excellent, but I've really liked the adjustments that this team has made from the Regina Pats specialty teams, the way they're winning faceoffs now, the way they're competing and winning battles, getting the puck low. An old coach of mine, you might have heard of him, Mike Babcock.
Yeah, I've heard of him.
Yeah, I think a lot of people have. He taught me the 3P rule. Proper preparation prevents poor performance, and we're seeing a good prepared Regina Pats team here in Game 6.
Holy alliteration, but so true. And yes, your old coach, let's just say he's done all right for himself, as has this gentleman who's been around this game for a long time. He was a player in this league in the early 70s in Brandon.
Coach of the year, executive of the year, most wins in franchise history with 52, most points at 112. Not a bad season at all.
You think about the steep, long-standing tradition of this franchise. The Pats playing in their first league final since the year 1984. Brooks in front. Knocked away from Wagner by Hyman, saved a quality scoring chance. Volkin puts on the brakes, looks for a trailer. Harrison to his partner Hobbs, who has his 24th postseason point in this game. Brooks to Wagner. Wagner from a sharp angle, and Stankowski almost missed it. He just got enough. Hobbs leans into his man, carrying on. This is Wedman. Wedman lost his balance as he went to the deke. Great opportunity for the Thunderbirds again. True block by Hobbs and backhanded by Brooks into Thunderbird territory.
Block shots 3-2 in the first period. I think there's going to be a few more onto the tally sheet for the Regina Pats here in this one. They've had more shots fired at the net, but they're getting in lanes.
And Seattle has done a lot of second period damage in this series. They're throwing everything at the Pats in period 2, trying to close it out and make their way to Windsor, Ontario. The Western Hockey League's champion will play its first game on Saturday. The tournament begins on Friday.
Well, you talk about moments in hockey games, and you know when you're in a fight that you're going to have to take a shot or two, and at times you just have to weather the low parts of a game. And to me, this is the part of the game where the Regina Pats just have to find a way to get themselves through and back to the form we saw in the first frame.
Kolazar behind the net, cutting it off his shoulder, and he'll leave it for Slobozhin. Slobozhin drilled on a shoulder check by Kolazar, who throws himself into Nick Henry, and then takes care of Slobozhin with a bit of a high hit. Henry on the end boards versus Ottenbright. Barzell neatly behind his back on the outlet. And now here he comes in turn. Barzell with room to operate. Stick lifted backhander. That's an outstanding stop by Brown off Barzell. DeWitt chips and chases against Hyman. He knocked him down. Steele to DeWitt for Leadall. Leadall and Bear. This is a great tussle. Mahura will keep it into the left point, but put it right on Enser's stick. Mahura loses his balance. It's a 2-on-1. Moylinnen, he scores! Sammy Moylinnen has tied the game. And John Paddock wants a penalty.
Paddock is incensed as he's up on his feet talking to the referee. Not happy one bit, as he thinks there should have been a penalty on this call. It was a 2-on-1, and we'll take a look at it here. Let's look at the interference. There it is on Mahura, and that's why the Regina Pats are all on their feet. Here it is. Moylinnen holds as he's got the option to pass. Brown, I think, may be caught between two decisions, and again, Moylinnen here. Good job by holding, represents early pass, and look at the shot off the far post and in. And this goal will stand as we're now knotted at 1.
John Paddock right at the front of the bench. And you don't see him react like that very often, but Moylinnen's third of this series has tied the game at 1. And he's still hot.
Well, there's missed calls, and then there's calls that are missed that result into a scoring opportunity against or a goal against, and that's what they're not happy about. And now we see Wagner. He takes a hit when he is unaware. He's down on the ice, and there will be a penalty on this one. And Regina Pats, Adam Brooks has got something to say about that.
And you know who threw it? Turner Ottenbright. And we just hope Austin Wagner, who is definitely playing with an upper body injury, you hope he's all right. This hit will be penalized.
Well, you see Paddock at the bench again as his hands are on his hips, and he is not happy with what he sees. Look in the middle of your ice. In the middle of your screen, there's the hit. The only problem with that hit, there's no puck anywhere near. So we'll get another look at it. We're going to see Ottenbright come in. The contact is made. There's certainly a penalty. I guess the only question is now is what will it be? Austin Wagner hasn't moved.
Now Wagner gets to his knees. Athletic therapist Greg Mayer attending with him. And here's another peek.
Good puck movement from Harrison. And there again you can see that Ottenbright was anticipating Wagner get the puck. It wasn't near him. Ottenbright got a good piece.
Well, the Pats end up with Brooks back in their lineup for the first time since an Ottenbright hit in game 1. Now it's Wagner in all kinds of difficulty. Is he going to go straight to the room? John Paddock's right back at the front of the bench again, where he was after feeling like Moylinnen interfered with Mahura on the tying goal. The Pats will want a 5-minute major, and the referees still together discussing it.
Well, they're going to take their time after, obviously, the big hit, and they're completely two separate instances, but it was carbon copy of game 1. Ottenbright coming across in the exact same spot on the ice to hit Adam Brooks, and we're seeing Austin Wagner being escorted. It will be a 5-minute major and a game misconduct, and you can hear the crowd's reaction to that.
And now Steve Konowalchuk needs an explanation, as veteran defenseman Turner Ottenbright involved in another big collision in this series, in this building. And he's yelling at Jeff Ingram. He wants a conversation.
Well, one of the things that I really liked in the detail away from this was the guy that went after Ottenbright in that far corner was their captain, Adam Brooks, who obviously took the hit in the first game, missed 4 since, and he was right in the face of Ottenbright, letting him know, and he's the guy that will lead, and he's going to lead. You can see Konowalchuk there saying shoulder. I'm not sure he has much of an argument on this one, as there was no puck near it.
Well, the pass was intended in that area.
That's right. And I think that's probably what got Ottenbright moving, is his sense of anticipation. Here's the pass again. Watch Ottenbright in the middle of your scheme. It's on its way. There's the deflection. It was on his stick, and then it was off. In the previous views, I didn't see that. So Wagner does touch the puck, and it's off of his stick in a flash, and then the hit ensues.
Darren DuPont's right between the benches where all the action is.
Yeah, I can barely hear you guys. Turner Ottenbright, public enemy #1 here in Regina, but trying to listen into the explanation between the referee and Thunderbirds head coach Steve Konowalchuk. And the call on the ice was charging, and they were talking about possibility of a blindside hit, and Steve Konowalchuk was adamant that it was on the front of the shoulder, and he did not want it to be called a blindside hit. So that was kind of the exchange going back and forth between the official and Steve Konowalchuk just a couple moments ago.
Thank you, Darren. 5 minutes and an exit from the game for Turner Ottenbright. In Game 6, in a 1-1 tie, Seattle with a victory captures the title. Regina with a win forces Game 7 tomorrow night at 7 Saskatchewan time, which is 8 in Manitoba, as I continue to try and get time zones right. Hobbs in time after the rebound, but shot it wide. Hobbs looked like he took a whack. Play continues. Mahura knocked off the puck by Enser, who picked up an assist on the Moylinnen goal. And this game has that feeling of getting out of hand, but you can't allow it in this situation on either side. Lead-off. Intercepted, and Gropp makes no mistake as he backhands it the length of the ice.
Have to be extremely organized on the power play against this penalty kill. We've talked about it often. They're so good at finding lanes and then taking away time and space. Their pressure has been lethal.
Pats are 7 for 22 in the series on the power play, including 1 for 1 tonight. That's how Steele opened the scoring in the first. Hobbs, wrist shot, hit a body. Mahura with Gropp on top of him, the lead all as they try to make the puck switch sides. Seattle so aggressive on their penalty kill. Oh, good stop by Stankowski and backhanded out again by Gropp.
2 passes. 2 crisp passes usually opens a leg or a lane, and that's what it's going to require to open up a seam to the net here. They're having trouble getting the puck through.
Henry with a loose puck. Zborowski falling in front of that. Of all people was Kolesar. Great defensive effort by Seattle's leading point getter in the playoffs.
Well, the intensity, you can feel it ratcheting up, and you can see how these guys are playing each other extremely hard. We'll look at the battle there from Enzor to Hobbs. You can see him get some high there. Hobbs up onto his feet and continues in the battle, and here's the save, the pass from Henry. Zborowski with the shot. Kolesar, what hasn't he done in these last 3 games? Blocks a big shot.
Sergei Zborowski yet to score a goal in the postseason. 7 during the regular season for the Russian defenseman, and stopped on a quality chance by Kolesar as Enser wins another 50-50 puck battle to force the puck out. Now there's 3:04 to go in the Pats power play, the major to Turner Ottenbright. And now Enser's going to get away short-handed. Enser racing in, robbed by Brown. Brown shuts the door on Enser. Back comes Slobozhin. And good force at the line by Reese Harsh.
21 shots fired at Tyler Brown so far, and we've seen him make point-blank saves, timely saves, and another short-handed breakaway. Seattle has 1 short-handed breakaway in this postseason. Guess from who? You guessed it. Number 8, Scott Enser. He's looking for 2, but a good job closing the 5-hole to negate the opportunity. And we've got 2:41 remaining on this 5-minute major power play.
Enser still looking for his first goal of this championship affair, has another assist. Hobbs rifles it in. Pat's at least trying to get something going momentum-wise with this major power play opportunity, but as of yet, it hasn't happened.
Well, and that's the danger when you take when you get a 5-minute major, where we've seen it so many other times. 5-on-3 power play, you don't score. What a momentum swing that is for the other team. Here's that 5-minute power play. You get the sense Regina absolutely has to convert here to maintain momentum here through the second.
21-10 are the shots in the game. 11-7 Seattle by my count in this period. Pat's power play continues. Brooks wins the battle this time to Hobbs. Hobbs for Brooks. Steele flashes high. Good low drive by Hobbs, and Stankowski stands strong.
Nice job by Hobbs, who gets this shot on net. He's got 2 goals in the series, both on the power play. Notice where the shot comes from. He's like a foot inside that blue line, and within a stick length, he's got a defender. We'll take another look. There's the pressure high. Seattle forcing Regina to shoot when they're uncomfortable, maybe when they're not set, and the pucks are coming from the perimeter. Nice screen net front, and an even better save by Stankowski.
Clean face-off win on a power play this time for Steele. Pressure by Bear on Brooks and forces it out. Moilinen's third of the series, the lone goal of period 2 that has tied it at 1. Brooks, his wrist shot, Liedall drives the net. Did it hit Liedall or the goaltender? Is there another Seattle penalty here? Or is it going to Liedall? Oh, it's going to Liedall.
1:48 remaining on the 5-on-3 power play for Regina Pats. That will be negated as Liedall takes a 2-minute slashing penalty. We'll play 4-on-4 hockey.
Are we going to break, or are the referees going to stay here?
On the Seattle bench with head coach Steve Konowalchuk. Steve, what was the explanation on the Turner Ottenbright penalty?
Well, I was just asking him what he saw. I thought the replay looked clean, but it happened quickly here, and we just got to move on. What
type of adjustments now do you have to make without one of your top defensemen in the lineup?
Well, other guys will get some ice time and step up, and it's about what our forwards do with the puck here.
This has been a real physical game. When we talk about the opportunity that you have here to win a Western Hockey League championship, how do you try and keep everybody even in this moment?
Well, you, again, play the way you played all year. And don't overthink things. Just keep going at it.
Thank you, Steve.
Thank you.
Well, the power play for the last 2 minutes will be neutralized because of that. You can see Liedall coming in with a little slash to the midsection of Stankowski, and that's enough to knock him off of balance. Here's another look at it as he gets slash, or a poke. Call it what you want. It's 2 minutes, and we're playing 4-on-4.
I had wondered because originally I didn't see the poke, and I saw Liedall lose his stick. Yeah. So I was wondering if it might have been another Seattle penalty, but it's not. Yeah. Is the 21-year-old who just signed his first ever NHL contract earlier this week with the New York Rangers takes a seat. Stankowski just fine after the television timeout. In a 1-1 tie with 7:37 to go, and we'll play 4-on-4 for the next 1:42. Good outlet from Harrison to Brooks. 2 of the 3 Regina 20-year-olds. The other is sitting in the penalty box. Brooks steals, twisting in the face-off circle in his pass. Stopped by Kolizar, who carries into the Pat zone. Kolizar, sharp angle. And Brown makes the save, and then here's some chirping from big number 28.
Nice job in the defensive zone. Chase Harrison earlier makes a real headsy play to the middle of the ice where the soft area was for a clean breakout. That goes 200 feet, and then the opportunity to the net gets neutralized by that man right there. And when I say man, I mean it. This boy, he can play the game with force and weight. He blocks a huge shot. He must have 3 or 4 tonight. Block shots, that is. He's been good.
6'3", about 225, and solid. Answer and Hobbs. Hobbs away from Answer finally. And Steele, who has the Regina goal, a power play tally in the first, accepts it from Josh Mahura, who assisted on it. To Hobbs, and Henry tried to stutter and stay onside, did not. Nick Henry, 85 points during the course of the regular season for the rookie from Manitoba. Has 4 goals, 8 assists, and 12 points so far in the playoffs. He has 1 assist in this series.
First 10 games, 10 points, 2 points in his last 11.
His last goal came in the clincher, Game 6 of the Eastern Conference Final versus Lethbridge. Steele and Brooks on the 4-on-4, Gropp and Barzell up front for Seattle. Seattle will enjoy a very short power play when the major expires. Mahura, good stick at the line, but Gropp is with it, and now Mahura feeds it for Brooks, and now thinks about jumping up, and does. Brooks dishes, Steele puts on the brakes, Stankowski, who looked like he'd lost his balance, with an excellent glove save.
Well, a little bit more time and space in that defensive zone without Turner Ottenbright, and looks to me like Brooks and Steele are looking to expose it. Look at there. You don't see that very often. As they're standing around, there's white area, there's soft area. How about the shot? And how about that save by Stankowski? Flashes the leather. Nice little drop. Real headsy play here by Brooks to Steele. He puts him in a lane with time and space. He gets everything on this shot that he wants. And look at the screen. How does Stankowski even find that puck?
He did, and he stopped it. What a story he's been this spring. Now Seattle with numbers. Strand is in front, and Zabrowski, the opposite number 2, tapped it away from him. Regina's had some nice cycle work in the game, but they've had trouble in transition, building from their own zone out. Is offside is the call.
Get the puck, get it deep. I agree with you. Put the puck on the wall. That's where they've had their most success. Regina has. They put it below the goal line and cycle it to the back of the net, and at times it gives fits to the Seattle Thunderbirds defense. And here's another look at that screen net front. How do you find this puck? Goaltenders look at him, fight for sight, fight for sight. He sees that it's going far side. His glove's already there. That's coaching, that's positioning, and that's poise.
Great look from our wonderful crew. And cannot say enough about the job that our crews have done, bringing you the Western Hockey League playoffs once again.
When you talk about Carl Stankowski, folks, this is a guy that's played 7 regular season games because he had injury through the meat of the regular season, and he's played 19 postseason games, 2 regulation losses. He's been absolutely on fire.
Only played 7 regular season games, and that's when the starter and veteran Ryland Toth went down, and Stankowski's run with the ball, or at least stopped it, the rest of the way. Dan Blackburn-like from the year 2000, when a 16-year-old goaltender helped Kootenay win the league title, and that recently turned 17-year-old, but 16 by hockey age, makes another save.
Stopped 33 of 37 in Game 5, and you can see that his process through the playoffs up to the final championship round, he swept his first 8 games in rounds 1 and 2, a 9-1-2 save percentage in round 3 against the Kelowna Rockets. He has been a big part of the picture here for the Thunderbirds' success.
Brooks off the face-off. He launches it over top of the net. Brooks, if you're just tuning in his first game back in the series, since he was knocked out of this championship affair by Turner Ottenbright in Game 1. Moylanen, who tied the game early in the period, sends it deep. Ottenbright out of the game with a major penalty. Wagner left the game as a result. DeWitt tests Stankowski, comes off the end boards, and DeWitt with a pass that nearly gave Philip All a scoring chance. DeWitt working against Hyman as they pull one another down, and Volkin finds the on-rushing Tishka. Stepping up on him is Hobbs, as Ensor clears it behind the net. Game number 6. Regina must win to force Game 7. Seattle, in its 40th year of existence, one win away from winning their first ever title. They did compete in a Memorial Cup in 1992, Seattle did, but they hosted it in a year that Zach Boyer scored with 15 seconds left to beat the Sault Ste. Marie Greyhounds in the championship game. Scholler, his weak wrister off the heel of his stick. All hooked by Strand. There will be a penalty to the visitors.
Well, a tale of two different situations here on this shift, and I always think that if you're going to have success, you got to play the game heading north, and this is a puck rung by Philip All, and watch to the left of your screen. How do you take away time and space? By pressuring. Right there, All's going to attack the puck. Instead, he heads south, and they play the rest of that shift, or most of it, in the defensive zone, but he has a response to that. A nice job, doing a good job down low, playing hard on the puck, and he draws a penalty, which will put his team back on the power play with 3:31 left in the second.
Officially the Pats' third chance. They enjoyed just over 3 minutes of a 5-minute power play on the Ottenbright Major, but did not connect with it. Steele carries in versus Volkin. Now puts on the brakes. Mahura intercepted by Bear, and Ensor looking to get away for a second short-handed breakaway in this period.
Always a factor that you have to keep in the back of your mind. He kills and defends great, but he's always a threat offensively.
Mahura, with his excellent skating ability, cruises in to lead all. Tied in a knot by Ethan Bear, the league's best defenseman, in the slot. Brooks taps it back to the line, and Mahura for Hobbs. Back to Mahura. Traffic in front. His low shot, there was some room on the far side as it's cleared down the ice by Alexander True.
Sneaky release by Mahura. He's on the half wall and he throws it to that far post. He didn't miss by more than an inch.
45 to go in this Regina man advantage. Hobbs into the slide in behind Slobosian. Here's All. Fans on it. And it's Harsh who signs it down the ice. Now Brown's by himself. No outlet. Finds one. Slobosian carries in. Drops it for Hobbs. Hobbs wrist shot. Blockered away by Stankowski. Hobbs has it back again. Pressured. The spinorama. He likes that. Through the seam. In front for Henry. Just missed him at the top of the crease. Harrison. Philip All. All fakes the slap shot. Harrison returns the favor. All. Stankowski got a piece. Penalty to Strand has expired. Held in by Hobbs. His shot goes wide of the net. Crop chops it to the line. Harrison just unable to keep it in.
Well, good possession by the Pats on the power play down low. They're having a tough time getting pucks to dangerous areas in the middle of the ice, but a good spinorama by Hobbs, and he gets the puck cross ice. And watch here, if Henry can find a way to get a stick on that puck. Oh, he had the net. It was wide open. Stankowski hadn't gotten set. We'll get another look at it here. Net front presence, number one. Get the stick in the lane. The stick was kind of on a 45-degree angle. No touch, no goal.
Scholler bumped by Moylannon, who packs a punch for a diminutive forward, at least height-wise. Here's Barzell, a magician with the hockey puck. Back to the line and Strand. And net off. Face-off, will it stay in or out? With exactly 1 minute to go in period 2 of game 6. Stays in.
You see the net getting dislodged here as Moylannon drives to the net, and that's what this line does. Niles on the ice as well. They attack the net so hard, knocked it off the moorings, and we'll reset and do it again.
Steele comes out against Barzell. That's been the matchup the Pats have wanted. and the game becomes a different type of game with Brooks back in. But remember now, the speedster Wagner is out. So again, Regina having to deal with a very key player out of their lineup. Here's Kolazar. For Barzal, wrist shot. He hits Zabrowski in the back of the leg. And then Kolazar swept it away from his man. Barzal knocks it out of midair. Kolazar, Strand keeps it alive. Deflects down below the end line to drop. Good play by Zabrowski. Leadoff to Mahura. Mahura skates in. DeWitt, steal, sweeps it. Not a lot on it, and it goes wide. Mahura stays up in deep. Mahura backhands, just missed. Steel stick in front of the net. Leadoff upended, and that should do it as Bear flips it down the ice. 2 periods in the books in game number 6. Number 6 and the Pats need to win it.
Quality chance at the buzzer here, and Josh Mahura, a left-handed shot. You know how hard that shot is? A spin fire on your backhand. He puts it right into that dangerous area. Nice job by Mahura in his bid to try to take the lead in the dying seconds of the second.
Mahura has points in 5 straight games in this championship affair, 7 in total, as he has really staged a coming out party this postseason. Sellout, standing room only crowd again. There have been nothing but in this building since the playoffs started at the end of March.
Well, after we saw a quality start from the Pats in the first period, the pushback, and Seattle managed to tilt the rink back into their favor, and we talked about it, is that low game. Every time I see Regina command the game, it's because they got the puck on the wall. We'll look to see if they can get it back there in the third.
The panel and many other items are next. Moylinnen has tied this game. We're through 40. You're watching on Shaw, Access, and this TV.
1-1, Game 6 in the Western Hockey League Championship Series here in Regina. Second intermission with Ryan Gropp of the Thunderbirds. And 1-1, you guys were able to get that goal back. How big to be able to tie this thing before the break?
It was huge. Obviously, it was a big boost for us. It was a great play by Enzer's line, and for them to capitalize was definitely a big lift for us.
That line always continues to find energy for you guys. As one of the top guys on this team, what does that do for your line as far as bringing energy on the ice?
It does a lot. It obviously brings us a lot of energy too, just watching them out there, always competing on pucks, winning battles, and makes you want to do the same. So it's a huge part of our team.
What's going through the minds of the players on the bench? Turner on and right delivers the hit, then he gets removed from the hockey game. So what's going through your mind as one of the teammates?
It's obviously tough. It was it's a hockey play. It happens quite a bit in the game. We obviously just got to move past it, find a way, and have a big third period here.
It's a big moment for you guys. First opportunity for this team in franchise history to win a Western Hockey League championship. Are you guys aware of the magnitude of this moment?
Yeah, for sure. I think for us, we try not to think too much about it, though. You just want to play a clean 20 minutes here, and then we know it'll take care of itself. So we just want to work as hard as we can, and hopefully we come out with a win.
What have you been able to find in the Regina Pats game that's allowed you guys to have success?
I mean, they're a fast, skilled team. I think for us, we just got to, work them down, play behind their D and try to wear them out, and that's how we're, getting success. So I think just got to keep doing that here in the third.
Ryan, we're looking forward to it. Good luck in the third.
Thank you.
Ryan Gropp of the Seattle Thunderbirds here through 40 minutes. Now for the intermission, let's visit Andy Neal and the fellas.
All right, thanks very much, Jaron. Welcome back to Bobdale Gloves, WHL Central, alongside Joey Kenward and Jeff Odgers. Sammy Moylinnen with his 7th of the playoffs to tie it for Seattle in quite a sequence. And then the big hit thrown again by Turner on right. He's inflicted quite a bit of damage in this series on the back end for Seattle. Let's start with the tying goal, Joey, from Sammy Moylinnen.
Yeah, quite an interesting stretch of 16 seconds. It's a rather controversial play to allow Sammy Moylinnen to get free and a 2-on-1, snaps it short side. Moylinnen now has 7 goals in the playoffs and has been one of those key depth forwards for the Thunderbirds. But here's the talking point in the Brandt Centre. The hit by Turner Ottenbright on Austin Wagner at 9:11 of period 2. There was a penalty to be called on the play, and eventually after both referees, Regan Vetter and Jeff Ingram had their arms in the air. They had a consultation at the penalty box and assessed a 5-minute major for charging. Wagner has not returned. Ottenbright will not return. And certainly another interesting talking point in this building in this series, now in an elimination game.
Jeff, what do you make of the hit?
Well, Turner Ottenbright's a guy that plays on the edge. He makes those hits. You know, we talked to Richard Dirksen earlier about on the Brooks hit. And, you know, when he went through it, he said he came through, he kept his arm down, he didn't leave his feet. There was no direct head contact in the Brooks hit. The injury came when Brooks' head hit the ice and his visor hit him. That's what cut him. You know, on this one, it's a very, very close hit, very similar hit. They called it a 5-minute charging penalty. Now, the difference with this, Wagner doesn't have the puck the whole time. He's going through the neutral zone. It's kind of a chip play from the defenseman up. His stick makes contact with the puck for a millisecond. Ottenbright's already coming over to make the hit. He comes over, same thing. His feet do not leave the ice. He doesn't raise his elbow. He doesn't target the head. And the referees, different than the Brooks call, both referees are making a call. So there's the difference right there. There was no call on the Brooks hit, so there's nothing to be made. Now, when he makes that hit and there's a call to be made, then you go by the injury. Austin Wagner, hurt, determined to be hurt, so that's where the major penalty comes in, because there was a call made by the referees initially.
Just another chapter and another layer to what's turned into just an absolute awesome series to watch. This game and series has had everything, and here is the hit in question that Jeff alluded to, Turner Ottenbright in Game 1 on Adam Brooks, and now here in Game 6, Ottenbright on Austin Wagner. Regardless of what people will think, what does remain for the remaining portion of Game 6 is Seattle is without a key defenseman. And now, when you're playing a team that's 20 minutes away potentially from having their season come to a close, you have to dig down deep on that blue line to play smart hockey, to play consistent hockey, not only in your own zone, but when you go on the attack. And if you're Regina, well, you're without arguably the fastest player in the Western Hockey League. These are two key players that are not in it right now. We'll obviously keep a close eye to see if Austin Wagner returns for Regina in the third period.
Is this it? We saw the 5-minute major called on this one, but no penalty on the Brooks one. So does that raise some question as to why the 5 wasn't given or a penalty at all in Game 1 when Brooks was hit?
Well, it was just the referees made a determination on the ice. You know, both the referees did not see the Brooks hit as a penalty. This refereeing, officiating crew, both of them unanimously see it as a penalty. And then you go by the severity of the injury for the length of the call, whether it be a 2-minute or a 5-minute. I know what you're saying though, when you look at both those plays back to back, you wonder how one's a penalty and one is not. But both the referees, or the 4 referees, both crews were in agreement on both the calls.
Well, this is a massive hole for Regina, too, with Austin Wagner, Joey.
Austin Wagner has had his opportunities to score on numerous occasions in both series. He has obviously fought through a lot of pain in this series, but he's dug down deep and played a strong, strong series to this point for the Regina Pats. And there he was able to score his first goal of the series in Game number 5. Now it's an opportunity for somebody deeper down the bench for Regina to get more minutes, to be thrown into a pressure cooker situation that maybe they might not have expected to be in the final 20 minutes of Game number 6. And that's what makes the playoffs so interesting when you're looking at so many key players and so many different roles. Somebody now for the Pats has to fill the void left behind by Wagner.
You know, and what a gutsy performance it's been this series for Austin Wagner. We've seen numerous times when he gets hit, he's went off the ice. He's been wincing. You've seen him on the bench in a couple of shifts. He's even dragged his arm all the way from across the ice to the boards, and then he comes back. We've seen that hit on Turner Ottenbright. You know, that was the hit he made right after he was hurt, dragged his arm all the way across the ice. Next shift comes back, goes right after Ottenbright, who made the initial call. You know, Austin Wagner has just been a real gutsy performance. Regina Pats, key player, need him. Let's just hope that he's able to come back.
Well, and the penalty killing of Seattle, they get through the major, and they also get through a minor with Austin Brandt, who was in the penalty box. Strand was as well, off, and he and Brooks went off together, so two top defenders both out on penalty kills, Jeff, for Seattle, and they got through them just fine.
You know, and to me, that goes to the system that Coach Steve Konowalchuk's put in for your penalty kill. When you can take out Turner, Rottenbright, and Strand from your penalty kill and still be as effective as a lethal offense like Regina Pats and be as effective. And you notice you had Hyman out, you had Harsh out. They weren't letting up. They were still aggressive. They were on their toes. It didn't matter if Rottenbright or Strand's out there, they're going to play the same way. They're in your face. They don't give you time. They wait for a bobbled puck. They wait for their back to be turned, and they make their jump. And they're good at it. Like the Seattle Thunderbirds are willing to jump, take those chances, and we've seen two shorthanded chances by Scott Enzer in that period also resulting from it. You know, Regina Pats desperate for a win. Second period here, game 6, desperately need a goal. And the Seattle Thunderbirds, they're not phased. They don't change, top two defensemen or not. They kill the same way, and they're still getting shorthanded opportunities.
Pats have 8 power play goals in this series. They've now scored at least 8 power play goals in each game of this WHL finale. But you wonder what they're thinking now inside that locker room when reflecting on that second period when they had those great chances to pull out of a 1-1 hockey game. And don't think for a second that the Seattle Thunderbirds inside their locker room are saying, hey, our penalty kill in games 4 and 5 to get us back to level terms and to now get us into the lead in this series has been great. And maybe the best stretch of penalty killing in this series just came in that second period as the road team tonight. So I don't know if either team really has the momentum right now going into this third period. It should be a fun one to watch.
Well, the power plays, when you look at them compared to each other in this series, it's been something else. 3 power plays for each in this game, but both of these teams have had incredible success with the man advantage in this series.
You know, in Seattle Thunderbirds, when you watch their power play, they have one guy that's just really the difference. Matthew Barzal is just mesmerizing with the puck and the way he can distribute the puck. And then when he started shooting the puck last game with a couple power play goals, that changes everything once again. But really, special teams, you know, this period, Regina's probably get another chance in the power play, and to me, it's going to be maybe a make or break point in the series.
Both teams, as you just saw, those are up-to-date power play stats through 5 games and 40 minutes of action. Both teams are operating at over a clip of 34% success rate. That's unbelievable in a WHL championship. But the way these two teams line up personnel-wise, can't say I'm surprised.
You know, we're talking about Scott Enzer. It's hard to believe that he hasn't scored in this series because he's had, Joey, we saw in Seattle when the scene shifted there, how much of an impact he's had for the T-Birds.
He really has been the unsung hero for me in this series for the Thunderbirds as to why they're 20 minutes away from potentially putting up their first ever championship banner down at the ShoWare Center. A guy that doesn't get the limelight, doesn't get the notoriety, but he wears the C on his jersey for a reason, doesn't he? And it's a rare thing to see as well. 2 players rotate wearing the captaincy. In Seattle, it's Enzer one night, it's Barzal the next. But you see his work and determination here, long from the blue line in on the breakaway, and the puck bouncing on him right as he got to the crease may have been the determining factor why he wasn't able to tuck it past Brown. But if he keeps getting those opportunities, Jeff, it's just a matter of time before he scores, isn't it?
Well, he's going to get those opportunities because he is the hardest working guy on the ice every time he's on the ice. And that's, you know, a lot of guys say, I want to work hard and I want to be the hardest working guy. He is. He is absolutely relentless with his stick. He never stops moving his feet. You know, if you're a guy that's coming in, you want to show how to play the game on the defensive side of the puck. He never loses position because he never stops moving his feet. And he's rewarded for it on the penalty kill because he can skate. He's got good speed. And he's learned to anticipate, much like Austin Wagner, a little more flashier, shorthanded, but Scott Enzer gets a lot of those chances too.
And Andy, he's one of those key players from that returning group last year that lost in the WHL final in 5 games to the Brandon Wheat Kings. He realizes what it takes at this time of year to win hockey games, particularly to win on the road in a championship final. He's doing all he can.
Well, Seattle knows it's got one more game at least left. They're hoping that they get tomorrow night off. Regina's hoping that they can get back at it tomorrow night. Third period to come in a tie game in Game 6 of the WHL Championship on John Access. Back in Regina, getting set for the third period in a 1-1 tie of Game 6 of the championship. The goalie of the month in the WHL for April is Regina's Tyler Brown, who went 8-5, a .921 save percentage, and he's in quite a battle tonight. 23 saves this evening for Tyler, 17 at the other end of the ice for Carl Stankowski. Third period, and upstairs we go. Peter and Kevin.
Andy, thank you as always. Tyler Brown has been great in the game. Regina's focus was to stay out of the penalty box tonight, and when they were killing penalties, to do a better job. Done pretty well in both accounts.
I think they really have, and they've made a key adjustment when they're down the man, and that's the pressure. And look at the pressure to the wall, puck up high. Again, making Seattle shoot the puck before they want to. I thought that was a huge adjustment on the penalty kill. And Seattle get their opportunities, but you can see that normally we're seeing those white jerseys collapse to the middle of the ice. Good stick by Wagner after coughing the puck up from Seattle, and they are 0 for 2 on the power play, the Thunderbirds are. And how about the faceoffs? We talk about that on specialty teams. A good job by Slobozhin. After he loses it clean, he takes Barzal to the net. No rebound from Brown, and then a turning point in the game. Some thought that may have been an interference call against Moynihan. A 2-on-1. There's the contact. Mahura hits the deck. A 2-on-1, and how about the shot from Moynihan off the post and in? That was the evening goal. And how about this opportunity for the Pats? What a great save by Stankowski. He cannot see the puck. Two big bodies net front. Both teams getting opportunities. And after 40, we're tied at 1.
Sammy Moynihan with his third of the series. 15-14 the shots on goal, and look who's back. Austin Wagner, the 4th round pick of the LA Kings, involved in another controversial Turner-Ottenbreit collision. But unlike Brooks, who missed a number of games before returning tonight, Wagner returns the next period. And we're underway in period 3 in game 6 with a series on the line. Seattle with a victory can end it tonight. Regina hoping to force a all-important Game 7 tomorrow night. Last Western Hockey League Championship Series to require a full 7 was Edmonton-Portland. The Oil Kings winning it in Portland in Game 7 in 2014. Henry on target, chopped away by Austin Strand. Now remember, Turner-Ottenbreit, who's been so good and so impactful, out of this game. Harrison Duall. Strand backpedals off the stick of Hyman, and here is Wagner, his first shift back, with All and Brooks. All on the cycle to Brooks. A little room, good stick and a close. Crazy carom off the end glass, hit the side of the net, and now Volkin chips it ahead for Seattle's goal getter tonight, Moynihan. Volkin stays with it, knocked off his stick by Harrison, and here's Wagner. Rink wide, past All. Will Stankowski have to stop it? Yes, he will. No icing as a result. Harsh to True, and Alexander one touches it deep. Slobozhin for DeWitt, who overskates it in the neutral zone. Here comes Kishka. Closing in a hurry is DeWitt. Wyatt Slobozhin from Vanscoy, Saskatchewan, just outside of Saskatoon. DeWitt for Robbie Holmes. Holmes back to Sergei Zabrovsky, on target rebound, and Adams, the Regina kid, chops it to the boards.
Well, the table is set here as Wagner comes out for the third. You know, that's an uplifting moment for the team. Ottenbreit out, the best defender on the Seattle Thunderbirds. Opportunity for Regina.
Steele nearly did just that from Stankowski, and back comes Moynihan. Moynihan, the entry for Volkin, tried to return the favor. Broken up at the side of the goal by the netminder. Harrison and Volkin, and it's Hobbs to Nick Henry. Off the stick of Enser. Harrison steps up, but Moynihan able to poke it past him. Henry, the 17-year-old, highly rated for the upcoming NHL draft.
Rated 25th overall by Central Scouting, 35 goals, 81 points regular season.
Steele and Barzal. touch from Steele, but Barzell feeds Donovan Niles. Niles, Barzell, in front, tip, big save, Brown, rebound. Scooped to the corner by Niles. Another quality stop by Brown. They're all big now. Thanks, Tips. Kolazar fighting with Lidahl. Lidahl plays it down the ice.
Well, the opportunity from Seattle comes from Barzell having a nose for the net, but all 5 guys for Seattle heading there, and a good job by Regina collapsing as well to negate any second opportunity.
Zabrowski. Brooks, good outlet for Wagner with some room. Wagner racing in, backhander. Didn't seem to have that extra gear that we've seen all spring.
He doesn't lose many of those races, does he?
Wagner down low, cut off by True, all to his knees. And here's Harrison. Harrison clears it deep. Tishka off his stick. Brooks shortens up. He'll shoot it from a sharp angle. Harrison down low for Lochner. A rare shift for number 18. There'll be a lot of them, trust me, in years to come. Harrison looks for a redirect. Lochner knocked down, net off. And the reason for the stoppage.
Well, we know the postseason can take a chunk out of you. The rigor of 4 hard rounds, and this is an example of Wagner. He wins these races 10 times out of 10. Well, he wins them not only by a step, but usually by 3 or 4. There he sprung from a good pass out of the defensive zone, and a good job by Reese Harsh to stay equal to the task to keep Wagner to the perimeter.
The net still off. Stankowski didn't put it back on, and apparently isn't that interested in doing it. So the youngster will just skate away until someone attends to it. And they will, and it will require assistance from the crew here at the Brandt Centre.
Well, a good opportunity for Regina to catch a breath, as well as we've seen them at times look sharp and on their toes, and other times you wonder how much they've got left. Is they're really able to dominate games and dominate points and times throughout this game, but I'll tell you, that second period by Seattle was a real big pushback, and it will require a fresh start and a solid 20 minutes here for the Regina Pats to stay in this series.
Looks like they're trying to chisel out a new hole in a 1-1 third period tie. Steve Konowalchuk trying to guide the Thunderbirds to the Memorial Cup, which starts on Friday night in Windsor, Ontario, for the Western League champs, whoever that might be, Seattle or Regina. They'll open against the Ontario League champion Erie Otters on Saturday.
Well, this is no territory that Regina hasn't found themselves in before. Of course, the 4th elimination game that they've faced in the postseason this year, obviously falling down 3-1 in the second round to the Swift Current Broncos. Game number 4, they lost in triple overtime. They regrouped and won 3 consecutive after that.
Well, we have this break in the action. Why not a visit with Darren Dupont?
Yeah, hey guys, as we have this little bit of a break, you mentioned it and touched on it already to start this third period, the return of Austin Wagner and just how big that is for the Regina Pats. Well, the Pats have been in this situation, trailing 3-2 up against elimination in a Game 6 before in these playoffs, and it was Austin Wagner, Philip Ball, and Wyatt Slobosian that combined for 4 goals in that victory over the Swift Current Broncos. So getting him back in this game is big for Regina.
So I read on Twitter that maybe I shouldn't, Darren, refer to you as Double D because that belongs to others. Then there's Moose, the old Philadelphia Flyer defenseman from long before your day. So I'm going to come up with a new one right now. I'm going to start calling you Wally Wynyard.
Wally Wynyard.
That is your hometown, correct?
It is.
WW, although that belongs to someone else in this province too.
I'm sure it does. Moose was okay, but you know, it's a funny story back in Pee Wee hockey. If you can believe, looking at me next to these hockey players, at that point in time, I was one of the bigger players on the ice. And it was an open ice check. I wasn't a physical player, Played an open ice hit. The player was down for several minutes. And sure enough, about 3 minutes later, gets up, takes off the helmet, and it's a girl. So we get in the locker room, and the coach slapped me on the shoulder and said, "Way to go, Moose." And that's how it started. But I stopped growing at Pee Wee hockey and moved to this side, guys.
Well, I don't think any of us should be surprised at that. I have a daughter that's in hockey, and she's the toughest person in our house.
If you've ever been involved, as I have, with high-end female athletic teams, they're not shy on commitment, intensity, perseverance, which on Mother's Day is a pretty good place to go.
What a fit.
And a happy one to all of you moms tuning in both Canada and the United States. Without you, we're not here tonight enjoying this wonderful game. Strand in the shooting lane is Slobosian, who tracks it down against Hyman. Walkner keeps it in. Volkin, another chance to clear, unable to. Funny Karam out of the corner as they've fixed the net in the Seattle zone, where it's been tended so effectively by the youngster Stankowski. Volkin, and there was a little room on the short side. Mahura trying to get away from Moylannon, and does. Josh Mahura, the Anaheim third rounder, sends it in for Nick Henry with Leadall and Steele. So a promotion back to that line in this third period for Henry. Steele, backhander right through the crease. Hobbs chopped away from him, and here's a race. Harrison and Barzell looking to pick the pocket of Harrison, the 20-year-old defenseman who just kept it in play.
Good pursuit by Matt Barzell. We talk about his skill and poise all the time right there, showing relentless pressure on the forecheck.
Barzell with 15-game point streak, and Stankowski nearly misplayed that. Barzell, a matter of fact, if you go back to the regular season, has points in 21 games in a row.
41 of them, to be exact. What a run that he's on. And how about the Regina Pats down low again? Every single time, without doubt, they get the puck down low and cycle it off the wall. It gives trouble to defenders for the Seattle Thunderbirds, and this to me is the key. Get the puck down there. This is where you're going to have success. They started the first period like that, and one of their better shifts here in the third from the cycle.
Wagner, and misfire off a Regina face-off win. Steele in the first on the power play. Moylannon in the second period. And another face-off, I think, unless Gropp, who can really fly, beats Zabrowski to it, but he didn't.
He's sneaky fast, isn't he? As he's got such a smooth stride, and we've seen him pull away from defenders throughout the course of this round. Gropp, 2 goals and 2 assists in his last 2 games. He had 35 in the regular season, and as this series has grown, I think his game has improved immensely.
True versus Brooks, a win for True. Mentioned Seattle's advantage in the face-off circle in the series. Tonight after 2, we have a slight edge as True goes off the body of Scholler, and Brooks an outlet to Philip All. All crunched by Kolazar, who has to be leading the way in the hit parade tonight. Funny bounce off Harsh to Wagner. Wagner spins, good stick by Tishka to prevent it from going on target. And here comes the always dangerous Donovan Niles. He loves this time of year. Hobbs in quite a battle with Kolazar. 2 players who certainly have NHL aspirations. Tishka hits Henry on the clear in, and Henry with a good pass up the middle to Steele, but he turns it over. Here comes Moylannon, loose in front. Pats cleared the way for a second or 2. Strand blocked, rebound, Niles after it, so is Barzell. Close call for the Thunderbirds. There have been a lot of those.
Pardon me, Pete. Good pressure shot to the net, and we haven't seen many handled rebounds, but Brown spits one into the very dangerous crease. Good job by his players in front of him to collapse to clear it.
Zabrovsky to Lochner. Clears it in. Stankowski behind the net. Touched it, couldn't stop it. Fans trying to urge their group on to a Game 7. Slobosian robbed by the shoulder of Stankowski. Slobosian stays with it, so does Holmes. As does Bear, and Ensor again, out of a pile.
Couple quality opportunities at each end of the ice, both of them off the heels of a turnover.
Lochner off his stick, and apparently not off of Harsh, so a face-off coming up at the other end of the building.
Well, when you pressure the puck, you make your opponents pass the puck before they want to. There's the turnover in the neutral zone. Good transition from Seattle. There's the shot and the oh-so-dangerous rebound, but puck retrieval. Barzal gets it, loads it up to Strand, and there's the second shot again. Another rebound. Nice job going to the net for Seattle, and then there's a turnover. You won't see many of those from Bear. He puts it right onto the stick of the Regina Pats, and that translated into a chance of their own.
Alexander True has 7 goals in the last 2 league finals.
11 goals in postseason, 7 of those power plays.
And True's going to the penalty box for his late hit on Chase Harrison. So with 11:09 to go in regulation.
Well, we'll take another look at this as we're talking about True and his numbers. 21 points in the postseason, and you can see that Harrison can feel the pressure coming, and those are the ones for me a little bit where when you know and you have time to protect yourself, you can't put the numbers to the back or to the pressure. You can see True. There's the penalty, I think, originally. There's the hold and then the hit on Harrison. I think it might have been the initial one on the hold.
Steve Konowalchuk's team about to be shorthanded for the 4th time. Regina's lone goal did come on the power play, courtesy of Sam Steele at 7:18 of period 1, and Steele wants the pass, but Strand broke it up. Now he does control the puck. Looks at Brooks. Mahura and Hobbs. Brooks, Steele, Leadoff. Mahura, Hobbs, blocked by Volkin. Hobbs races to track it down. Leadoff. And Brooks can't handle the pass. The captain back for the first time since Game 1, intercepted. And now he'll find Steele, who locates it in his feet. Sam Steele. Dangerous cross-ice pass, does hook up with Brooks, right back to him. Steele tried the one time, and it's cleared by Niles off the linesman and down the ice.
I think the pressure of the penalty kill from Seattle has the Regina Pats a little bit jumpy. We're seeing guys pass the puck a little hasty that don't normally do that. Hobbs, Brooks, normally they take more time with their decisions. We'll see if they adjust.
Broken up in front by Harsh, who is taking on a bigger role in the absence of Ottenbright, who left the game for a major penalty when he hit Austin Wagner in the second period.
Ottenbright, 3 goals, 9 points in the postseason. He's got 2 goals in this series.
What a warrior he's been. Slobosian. Off answer, makes its way Harrison for Zabrovsky. Philip All to Sergei Zabrovsky. All moves in from the boards. There's Harsh. Excellent block by the rookie defenseman from Grand Prairie, Alberta. Everybody selling out. Zabrovsky rims it in. Bear upended by Slobosian. Excellent outlet. Kolazar de Gropp, who knows that True is coming on the ice, waited and then had to clear it. So another quality kill by the Thunderbirds.
A real good job blocking shots, but there was a lack of movement. Again, 2 crisp passes lead to a lane. We didn't see them.
Pass steal with Henry. Tishka. He's rated for the upcoming National Hockey League draft, the defenseman from Langley, British Columbia. Paired right now with Strand, who's been such a key addition that Russ Farwell made.
traded in December from the Red Deer Rebels in exchange for Brendan Schuldhaus. He has been fantastic.
DeWitt knocked off the puck by Moylan and cleared by Adams deep in the pad zone, where Brown plays it to Hobbs and lead all for DeWitt. Mahura joins the rush. DeWitt, Mahura, he scores! Josh Mahura gives the Pats a 2-1 lead.
Well, you can feel the energy and the vibes in this building as the game was going back and forth, and I really feel that Regina needed something really good to happen here, as there was a lot of doubt after that power play. They didn't get very many good looks, but throw the puck to the net and good things happen. You're not going to see those loose rebounds very often. Stankowski, who has controlled the lion's share of those. The rebound, the net drive from Mahura, that's his 4th goal in this series. Add 3 assists. He leads his team with 7 points and the go-ahead goal with 8:06 remaining here in the third.
2 former Red Deer Rebels combine to give the Pats a 2-1 lead in Game 6. One they must win to keep their title hopes alive. Mahura is the man right now in the Queen City.
Well, you need your big players to get big plays in key moments, and no more moment more important than this in a 1-1 hockey game, in an elimination game. There's the initial shot to the net, the rebound is coming. Mahura doing a good job moving the puck around, and pardon me, the first goal of the game. I'm a little off kilter after what I just saw from Mahura, but here's the evener from Moylan on a 2-on-1 off that far post, and now we'll get to the Mahura goal, the go-ahead goal. It comes off of a rush. DeWitt does a good job protecting the puck, gets it to the net, but the net drive from Mahura, that's his 4th of this series, his 7th point, and a huge goal with 8 minutes remaining.
Mahura leads all Pats, goals and points. 4 and 4 for 8, his 2nd straight multi-point game of this series. His 6th multi-point contest of the postseason. Kolazar, a wraparound. Brown's trying to keep it out. They jam away at it. And the 20-year-old netminder able to keep Regina in front.
Good compete by Tyler Brown as he's got a mosh pit all over him. No whistle, the puck must have been loose. We can't see it from our vantage point, but a good job. How about Kolazar building a wall, sheds the pressure. There's the shot, but the puck isn't covered. Brown, wise to just hold his position. He doesn't want to give any time or space, as Kolazar was ready to pounce. There it is again as he takes the pressure so hard to defend the 225-pounder. Puck loose, desperation, and a good job by Brown to keep this game a 1-goal hockey game.
Saw Mahura mixing it up in that situation too. Face-off win, but it eludes Bear to Kolazar, who clears it in. Brown a little trouble in his skates. The goaltender plays it effectively, and Henry with steal and lead all chips it into the Thunderbird zone. Thunderbirds with a victory would capture the title. Pats would love to force Game 7 tomorrow night. If there is one, we'll have it for you right here on Shaw, Access, and this TV. Plenty of time left to work with. Kolazar and the top line out there as Gropp has rejoined Barzell and Kolazar here in the third. Blocked by Mahura, and out it comes.
What a job Mahura's done. We saw him get the go-ahead goal, but his assignment to defend Kolazar, he's done a real good job staying on the D side of the big man.
Gropp deflected in front, goes to the boards, and now Wagner might get away. Wagner in by himself. He scores! Austin Wagner!
Well, how about that response? 2 minutes minutes after the go-ahead goal, we talked about Wagner and all of the adversity that he's had to go through. How about him popping that puck, and where's the speed that we haven't seen? It's right there. Good job going to the backhand. He frees Stankowski. Watch it here. Backhand, Stankowski down. He gets a piece of it, but to the top corner, Wagner gets his second goal in as many nights. Add an assist to that in this series, and he is hot. What a response from the Pats. 3-1, 6:45 remaining.
Wagner's playoff leading 16th of the postseason as Regina strikes for 2 here in the third. First Mahura and then Wagner. And we've seen Stankowski win that battle so many times in this series, and he nearly won it again. He did get a piece of it. Brooks in deep against Tishka. Moylanen, who has the Seattle goal. Holmes and Moylanen and Brooks. And here's where you need to be careful and keep your discipline on both sides of the equation. Under 6 to go in regulation of Game 6. Hope you're enjoying it. I know we are. Wedman. Zabrowski to DeWitt, who helped to set up the go-ahead goal. Wedman protects it effectively. Back to the line it goes. Bear, Strand, blocked. Strand, blocked. Loose in front. Pats collapse to the middle. Seattle looking to draw within 1. Gropp holds. He scores! Ryan Gropp and Seattle right back in it within 1.
Well, you knew that Seattle was just too good and too experienced to go away, and after a really good job defensively and a couple blocks in succession from the Regina Pats, there's Strand with the first shot, a real good block earlier from DeWitt and then from Sloboshan to follow it up. Bear keeps the puck in, and watch how Gropp fades. Fade, finds the spot, and how about the release to that top corner? Look at him find his area, and that shot cleanly into that top corner. And we got a one-whole goal hockey game again, 5:22 left in the third.
Ryan Gropp with another goal in this series. And Seattle back to within 1. Niles poked away from him by Hobbs. Well, just another run-of-the-mill championship game on Mother's Day here in the Queen City. Barzell carries in against Steele. Stays with it to Kolazar. Kolazar in front. It's blocked, but he has it again. Kolazar to Bear. Both benches standing. Kolazar and Hobbs. Look at this battle. Hobbs to lead all, and there's going to be a penalty. Holding the call. And with 4:35 to go in regulation time, the Pats find themselves short-handed.
Well, on the heels of an unbelievable battle, watch Hobbs at the end of this clip. First, the defensive play from Hobbs as Kolesar tries to slip that in, sneaky into that back door, and then here's the battle. Hobbs on Kolesar, the second effort. This is a bar fight between these two, and it's been like that all series long. There's Harrison coming in and does a bit of a tackle on the Kolesar. There's the holding penalty. Oh my. 4:35 remaining. Regina up by 1. They've got a big kill on their hands.
Some debris on the ice. Pats with goals by Mahura and Wagner to make it 3-1, but then a biggie from Gropp, his 7th of the playoffs, from Ethan Bear, who now has points in all 6 games in this series for Seattle. And the dangerous Thunderbird power play goes to work for the 3rd time. They're 0 for 2 on the night. Barzell, Bear, Kolazar, Gropp, True, the usual suspects. You talked about the Ginsu the other night. That was about slicing and dicing. This is about cutting tension.
So you have to be able to perform in tense situations, don't you? And Edith knew again that Seattle was too good to sit back on their heels after giving up 2 quick goals, down 3-1, a response from Gropp, and now on the power play, the Regina Pats' maturity and poise will be tested here on the kill.
Well, the Pats with a face-off where they'd like it. Seattle, not the case. There's another win by True, and you can bet the NHL scouts have not missed his expertise in that area. Talking about True. Gropp, who made it 3-2 seconds, or at least moments ago. A clear by Hobbs.
And you talk about True and all the things that would turn the head of a scout. Physicality at 6'4", 4.5. He's been on the body, 11 goals, 7 power play goals, great in the face-off circle. He can perform in key moments. He has done everything and more.
Barzal on the entry for Gropp. Back to Bear. Kolazar. Bear snaps his stick in 2, but it got through Kolazar. Brown looked behind him, but he has it.
Well, how about this? Ethan Bear is looking for his 7th goal of this series, or of the postseason, and he snaps the lumber. And how about this save right there? True is pouncing on that rebound. If there is one, he can smell blood. And this is what we've seen from 16 Blue all series long. Net front, he's had a presence. He's looking for that second opportunity. If it's there, quality chance. Great battle by Brown.
Does Steve Konowalchuk want a timeout here to rest his first power play unit? Indeed he does. With 45 seconds remaining in the Pats penalty to Chase Harrison. Have there been any hard hits, my friend?
Oh, I'd say that there has been since game 1, haven't we? But this is all tonight. Kolesar, Liedall, the big boys going at each other. There's the hit from Ottenbreit. Hobbs, I've really liked his game tonight. He's let his presence be felt. You're going to go near the net, you're going to feel it. You're going to pay the price. You're going to go near the puck, and you're going to feel it. Both teams have been extremely physical this series and tonight.
Dave Strush, John Paddock drawing up their penalty kill plan. The Thunderbirds did the same as far as the power play. 3:20 left in regulation. Tyler Brown and company must win to force a Game 7 tomorrow night. Seattle can capture the crown if they win, and they win the face-off. Barzal with plenty of traffic. In the way is Mahura. Can he clear the zone? The answer is no. Bears back from Gropp. Kolazar to Ethan Bear. The Western Hockey League's Defenseman of the Year has it again. Kolazar, he scores! Keegan Kolazar has tied the game.
Well, the Thunderbirds in their last 2 home wins, 5 for 12 on the power play. They've been lights out with the extra man, and after Gropp gets his team within 1, minutes later on the power play, Bear getting looks. Normally he's shooting that, but he gives it to Kolesar right in the wheelhouse, and a perfectly placed shot with net front traffic. Watch where this goes. Right on the ice, it's redirected. To me, I think it may have gone off Mahura's foot. We'll get another look as the puck goes up top. It's going to Kolesar, who absolutely unlaunches on this. And we're knotted at 3 here, 2.5 left.
Oh, and a chance for Moylannon on a crazy carom. As Seattle has bounced back on goals by Gropp in the power play marker from the Winnipegger. Keegan Kolesar is 12th of the playoffs to tie it. Remember watching him as a 14-year-old Bantam in his draft year. Hobbs across the line and rips it. Barzal carries in. The number 1 unit back out again, trying to maybe end it. Bear. Ooh, Brown just got enough. Barzal blocked in front. Hyman snaps it high and wide, and Liedal a chance to clear as he'll chip it in behind Bear. Henry in hot pursuit. This must be a little hard on the heart for those so invested. What a show these teams have put on in this final. Mahura and Niles to center, glove down, and it's Zabrowski. Steele, a good up pass. Slobosian stood up by Austin Strand. Here comes Gropp, who just made it 3-2. His wrister is held on to by Brown.
Well, you look back and you talk about it all the time, what Seattle has gone through in the last 2 years. They've visited the league final for the second year in a row, and the lessons that you learn throughout the course of the championship run. This is a team, I'm not sure that they could have pulled off something in the dying minutes of a game, down 2 goals, but they relied on their leadership and their poise. They didn't panic. 2 quick goals to make this 3-3, 1:08 left here in the third.
Bear and Gropp draw the assists on the equalizer at 17:08 on the power play. Just over a minute remaining in regulation time. The popular song was "Turn Down for What? Turn Off for What? No need." Under a minute remaining, and here comes Volkin. He'll win the race. Mahura step for step. Wagner is there. Enser. Volkin has a man in front. It's Moylinen, and he had room. Seattle pressing Moylinen. I think he got a stick on that redirect with 27 seconds remaining.
Well, 2 examples of what make this third night for Seattle. The puck is on the wall, it's in the perimeter, it's a backhand shot to the net, but because Moylinen does such a good job being at the net, it turns into a dangerous chance. There's the puck on the half wall, first chance. Puck redirected, and then it comes back to the net again. Guess what? 18 Blues there again.
Seattle a face-off win, dying seconds. Steele has broken his stick. And Hobbs rubs out Barzell. Steele with a different stick. It was Slobosian's play by the veteran. Maybe one last chance for Regina. Kolazar chops it away. Brown. Buzzer goes. For the 3rd time in this building, 60 minutes is not enough to determine a winner.
Well, to put a team away is a never easy thing to do, and to put away the Seattle Thunderbirds is proving to be quite a task as well for the Regina Pats. An exciting third period, 2 late goals by the T-Birds to preserve this chance to move on to the Memorial Cup.
Keegan Kolazar's goal on the power play. With less than 3 minutes to go, Seattle erases a 3-1 third period deficit, and Game 6 is headed to extra time when we return.
Emotions running high in the Brandt Centre, tied at 3 through regulation here in game number 6. Joined with the Pats assistant coach, Dave Struch. Dave, how do you put into words the final few minutes of this hockey game?
Well, it's been an exciting series, not to say the least. I think that we're really giving ourselves a chance. We're leaving everything on the ice, and that's all we can ask from our players. Obviously, 2 goals late there for them puts a little damper on things, but we feel good about our game today. We hope we can come out with a victory.
You guys have been in elimination games before and had success. What's led you to be able to get out of those situations?
Well, I think it's resiliency. I think our guys, with the players we've had out, Adam Brooks coming back tonight is big for us, but the depth guys like Dawson Davidson, Jake Lecision, they've missed a lot of time. Philip Ball early in the playoffs. So we've had a lot of our guys gain some experience in different situations. It's allowed us, or given us an opportunity to be in the situation we're in tonight. Hopefully we can move into Game 7 tomorrow.
How big to get Austin Wagner back for that third period?
Well, for sure. I mean, obviously you can see this, and it put us in a good side of the play.
Dave, appreciate this. Good luck in overtime.
Thanks, Darren.
There's David Struch of the Regina Pats joining us here. And for the intermission, let's over to Andy Neal, Jeff, and Joey.
All right, thanks very much, Jared. Welcome back to Bob Dell Club's WHL Central. So the 14th time in the game is going to overtime, the 3rd time in this series, all of them here in Regina. But Jeff, what a turn of events when we had about 7 minutes and change to go. Regina takes the lead, looks like they're home and cooled, and then back come the T-Birds.
Well, you're exactly right. Josh Mahura, who's been absolutely lights out all series, he comes up, gives them a 1-goal lead. You know, and then Austin Wagner comes back from that devastating hit. He has a shorthanded breakaway, shows off his speed, and the building, everyone thinks it's over. It's 3-1. You know, Ryan Gropp, after a great battle shift, and Regina Pat's blocking shots, laying out, doing everything they can, but just one too many chances for Ryan Gropp, who's got a great shot. And then you knew it was coming. You knew they're going to have that one more power play opportunity. They're going to have to kill it off to seal the deal. Call their timeout. Crucial timeout call. Rest your number 1 unit. And Keegan Kolesar with a huge goal off a one-time pass from Ethan Bear. I'll tell you what, it has not been boring. I'll tell you that.
Quick goals, quick strikes from Seattle, Joey. That's been one of the staples in this series for them because those two came 2-22 apart.
They certainly did, and that's just been their MO for much of these WHL championships, be it either in Kent, Washington, or now for the 2nd straight time in this building. You'll recall, in case you don't remember, I think there were 3 goals in a span of under a minute in this building in game number 2 for the Thunderbirds. That one got away from them. They wound up losing that night in overtime. I give a ton of credit to the T-Birds when they got a chance to call that timeout. I know a lot of people were wondering, well, they're only down by a goal. They do have the power play. There's still plenty of time left on the clock. All they needed to do was win a face-off, get it set up, and as you mentioned, Jeff, to bullet of a one-time blast by Kolesar to give him another goal here in this series and in these WHL playoffs. And it's been now an opportunity to potentially keep your season alive or to win a league championship in overtime. Folks, we're about to see road hockey at its finest in the WHL.
Should correct that. 2:28 was the time apart between those goals. Ryan Gropp, Keegan Kolesar, both with goals in 3 straight games. As I mentioned, 13 overtimes prior to tonight. And let's take a look back at the 2017 OTs in the WHL playoffs.
To the middle. Here's Polai. Evan Olai! What a goal! The Rebels come back to win this thing. 4-3 in overtime.
Silvertips rushing as now Fontaine to the right side. Tolola snapshot score! E2 Tolola! Bringing down the house! How sweet it is! Sudden death overtime! Here comes Cal Babbage. Can win it right here on a breakaway. He shoots! He scores! He scores! He scores! Cal Babbage! The Odyssey is over! 8:24 left in the 5th overtime period. Takes it in, centers, Heponiemi, over to Lindgren, scored! Riley Lindgren wins Game 1 for Swift Current on a laser beam, top shelf, and the Broncos stun Regina in Game 1.
Colby Sissons, signed by the New Jersey Devils. He's coming through the middle of the ice, he scores! Colby Sissons scores! The Broncos win, and they lead the series 2-1.
Drop to the high slot, throws a shot to the net, blocked in front, rebound shot, score! Second of the game, Matthew Barzal, and the T-Birds win it 5-4, and they take a 3-0 lead in the series.
Demanding a shot. Eponiemi into Lindgren. Closing in, shooting! Glenn got it! Oh, my captain! Overtime winner in triple overtime! Listen to that! Folks, it's almost midnight!
Mason Shaw trying to dangle in through Marechko. Puck knocked to the corner. Bradley takes over. Has Dahlstrom in front, gets it to him and scores!
John Dahlstrom, the one-timer, goes. And the Tigers have tied this series in overtime.
Short-handed, Tyler Wong with Bellerive. Wong, high slot. Wong scores! Yeah! Tyler Wong! Tyler Wong!
It doesn't get any better.
Oh, Captain, my Captain! Kane's going to the Eastern Conference Final!
And the side is Colasar. Colasar will try to clear. Can't. Here's Reed Gardner. Score! 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 Reed Gardner has found the back of the net. And the Rockets win tonight 4-3 in overtime.
Harrison, Skinner down, somehow stopped it. Zabrowski, Brooks, he scores! The captain has tied the series in overtime.
So in this series, Donovan Niles was the hero in Game 1. Josh Mahura for Regina in Game 2. All four of Regina's one-goal losses in these playoffs have been because of OT setbacks. Let's get our predictions for the overtime winner, starting with you,
I'll
Jeff.
let you go first. All right, thanks a lot. I'm going to go with a couple of guys, a little bit snake bit. I'm going to go with Scott Enzer for Seattle and Nick Henry for the Regina Pats.
I'm going to go with Matthew Barzal of the Thunderbirds, and for the Pats, their captain, Adam Brooks.
Nolan Volkin for me. He scored in the last two games for Seattle. That's my pick. And Austin Wagner, who's got goals now in back-to-back games, including the big one in the third period. Those are my choices. We'll see if they come true. Third overtime of this WHL Championship with the trophy in the building. It's upcoming here on John Access and This TV. Bound for overtime here in Regina in Game 6. The Pats one shot away from forcing in Game 7 the Seattle Thunderbirds. They're one shot away from their first WHL championship and a trip to Windsor and the Memorial Cup. Should be doozy. It's our third of this series. And upstairs we go again. Peter Labardius and Kevin Sawyer. Gents.
Andy, thank you so much as always. Kevin, with 6:48 remaining in the third period, Austin Wagner scored his playoff leading 16th to give Regina a 3-1 lead. But the Thunderbirds didn't go away.
They didn't go away, and you didn't expect that they would. This is a team that's battled through a lot throughout the course of these playoffs, but both teams had opportunities. The shots were relatively even, 11-9 in the favor of the Thunderbirds, but the Regina Pats put a lot of pucks to the net. They had net front traffic. Wagner, we looked at times like he might have been out of gas, but I liked how the Pats played to their strengths. Pucks down low. They haven't had a shift when they had it down low that they haven't won. Again, opportunities to the net, throw pucks to the net, and this was what broke that 1-1 tie coming into the fourth of the series for Mahura. Seattle pushed back, but how about Wagner again? He didn't win that last race, but he certainly won this one, didn't he? He gets his 16th of the postseason, leads all players in the playoffs. That makes it 3-1, and then those dying minutes, tension was in the air. You knew that Seattle was going to get their opportunities, and Ryan Drop gets his 7th of the postseason. And on a power play late, after going 0 for 2 on their first two opportunities, Colasar gets the one-timer to stick. 1 for 3 on the power play are both the Regina Pats and the Seattle Thunderbirds. And to overtime we go.
Keegan Colasar's power play goal is 12th of the playoffs. With 2:54 remaining in regulation time, has sent this game to overtime. Third extra time game in the series. As a matter of fact, all three games that have been played in this building. Donovan Niles scored 14 seconds in to Game 1 to win it for Seattle, and then Josh Mahura the next night on the Saturday scored on a power play in Game 2. Seattle is one shot away from capturing their first ever Western Hockey League title. Regina looking to force Game 7 tomorrow night. Here we go. Steele chops it in. It's Steele's line against Barzal. That long pass attempt right to Tyler Brown, who's had to deal with 35 Seattle shots in the game.
Look at both teams who have visited overtime in the playoffs so far. 4 of them for Seattle. They've won 2 and then 6 contests with the extra period. Regina's won 2 to 4.
Barzell against Steele to the right of Brown. Niles, the overtime hero in game number 1. Steele. Bear 2 more assists in this game. Has 10 points in the series. Lead all. Knocked off his stick by Niles. Mahura stays on the right side of the puck against Barzell, and now it's Steele. Turns it over in the neutral zone. Carries in. Steele. Henry! Stankowski's not sure. And a quick whistle. It was never frozen, but the play stops 58 seconds into overtime.
Well, the first shot on net from Regina proves to be a dangerous one, and it wasn't the initial shot. Nice job by Henry getting it there, but how about the rebound? I don't think that Stankowski knew that it squeaked away from him. Good shot, uses the defender as the screen. Stankowski is squeezing, but a dangerous rebound that they were able to recover from.
Henry's last goal came in game 6, the clincher of the Eastern Conference Championship Series versus Lethbridge. Volkin against Harrison. Answer to Strand. Skate to stick. Down low towards Moylanen, who has one of the 3 Seattle goals, his 7th of the playoffs. And now Brooks. He has one of Regina's 2 overtime winners in the playoffs, but Wagner, as valiantly as he tried, failed to remain onside. The last time the Western Hockey League Championship Series was decided and captured in an overtime period was 2009, when Tyson Berry scored on a power play, 8-13 in from 2 guys you might have heard of. Jamie Benn of the Dallas Stars and Michael Backlund of the Calgary Flames, as Kelowna beat Calgary in Game 6 in Kelowna to make their way that year to Rimouski. The winner of this year's title will head to Windsor. And our friends from Rogers Sportsnet, and they do a wonderful job, RJ Broadhead, Sam Cosentino, Rob Faulds and company will bring you all of that action. And we wish them well. Gropp, who scored the goal that made it 3-2, that injected life after the Wagner goal that made it 3-1 in the third. DeWitt for Wagner. Bear steps up coolly and calmly. Brooks intercepts at the line. Adam Brooks. Stick lifted. He's knocked to the ice by Kolazar. Backhander. Sharp angle. Loose in front of the net, and Barzell will spin out of trouble.
Nice job by Kolazar on that back check. So many details in his game, and it looked to me like Regina had a good opportunity for a shot on net. Kolazar with a good strong stick.
Tyler Brown sent it down the left wing boards and ends up icing it early in the extra period.
Here you look at 28 blue from Kolazar. You can see how the puck in transition, and he just gets on his horse, working his way back, and right there he gets his stick into the wheelhouse of Brooks to negate that chance from Adam Brooks. A nice job defensively from Kolazar.
Matthew Wedman out there. He scored a double overtime goal against Kelowna in last year's playoff. Steal! Oh, and Stankowski was leaning as he slid it wide. Gloved ahead to True with Wedman and Niles. Swept to the boards by Lochner. Hit the linesman and cleared in by True on Harrison. Holmes, who scored the game winner in Seattle for Regina in Game 3 that put them ahead 2-1. Now he steals. Holmes, Hobbs, but he fanned on it. Had it all teed up, but didn't get very much. Holmes, nice hustle to keep it in. Has another opportunity to do so. The young man from Sherwood Park. These people desperately want to see Game 7.
Well, a good area pass by Robbie Holmes, and he's looking for Connor Hobbs to step into an area. I think the Seattle defender is in the lane. I don't think Hobbs can get a good look at this, but off the forecheck, turnover from Hobbs, and watch him put this to an area. Hobbs is wound up, and he's looking to put all 205 pounds into that shot. He isn't able to find the back of the net.
Connor Hobbs does have an assist in this game for his 24th playoff point. Moylinnen is offside. A late power play goal by Keegan Kolazar, the reason we've arrived at this point. The title is on the line. Seattle one shot away in their 40th year of existence. They'd only ever won one league finals game prior to this series. That came last year in a 5-game setback at the hands of the Brandon Wheat Kings. Their first appearance was in '97. Here's Wagner off the stick of Bear, kicked aside by Stankowski. Off the bench, Harrison, one of the Regina overagers, along with Brooks and Dawson Liedl. Hobbs nearly stripped. Enser kept it in momentarily, and now Hobbs looks at Liedl and backhands it in.
One bobbled puck with the pressure from the forecheck from Seattle often turns into a turnover. Speaking of them, Henry jumps on a loose puck, turned over from the defender.
By Tishka. Steele back out onto the ice for Liedl. Dawson Liedl. His shot is blocked and sent out by Enser. As Harrison, look out. Off his stick into the stands. Chase Harrison from Winnipeg. Superb season he has enjoyed in his final year of junior hockey. 48 points and a plus 50 during the regular season. Has a goal in this series. It came on the power play in Game 3 as Liedl nearly poked it away from Hyman. As the two big lines, if you will, on the ice one more time. Here's Henry. Henry knocked down by Strand. Liedl supports the puck on the end boards along with Barzell, the New York Islander first rounder. Henry comes away with it. Mahura, who scored the OT winner in Game 2 from about the same spot, has it blocked as Niles shovels it in. Barzell will remain out there, and he strips Mahura of it. This is Adams. Tyler Adams for Reese Harsh. Jared Tishka blocked in front by Zabrowski, and here he comes with Steele and Liedl. They've been out there a while, and they'll make their way off on a change 5.5 minutes in. Not for the faint of heart. This is what makes sports the greatest theater and drama on the planet. Harrison versus Gropp was another multi-point game in this series tonight. Harrison takes no chances, flips it, and the draw weight isn't quite good enough.
You got to look at Wyatt Slobozhin and how much his game has improved. I really think that we've seen him mature throughout this postseason. They acquired him from the Spokane Chiefs. He was sent there earlier in December from the Saskatoon Blades. They picked him up here in Regina because of his versatility. Number one, he can play the wing, he can play center. They've needed him to play center on that second line in the absence of Adam Brooks. He's done a great job in any task that he's been sent to.
Regina has called a timeout after the icing. Darren?
Well, guys, for Steve Konowalchuk, he continues to be impressed and amazed with his 16, well, now 17-year-old goaltender, Carl Stankowski. Impressed with how calm and poised and composed he's been able to be, especially after allowing goals. He said that's impressive for a guy who's been in the league 4 or 5 years, let alone for a guy who just turned 17 years of age.
Now here's a real opportunity for the Thunderbirds, because you can bet it's Barzell's group coming out. Now, because in this league, when you ice the puck behind your own blue line, you can change. Steele against Barzell. Face-off win for Bear. Bear off a stick, and it comes out as Strand pokes it back in.
Good stick by Lido, pardon me, after a loss in the face-off in the D zone. The turnover comes from Lido with an active stick.
Remember, Turner Ottenbright left the game with a major penalty call and a hit versus Austin Wagner that knocked him out for the remainder of the second. He returned in the third. So Seattle in this overtime without one of their best defensemen. Here's their best offensive player, Barzell, trying to end the series. Shot it wide. Steele, the player of the year in the Western Hockey League, against Hyman, who shovels it one-handed for Bear. Held in by Hobbs. He'll flick it to Wagner. Austin Wagner. Intercepted Barzell, who's been out there for a while, and now looks for a change. Or does he? No, he remains out. His buddies make their way off. Tishka, tight turn against Wagner. Brooks in support, along with DeWitt. And here comes Moylinen. Sammy Moylinen with Nolan Volkin. Fans on it. Now Brooks in transition to Wagner with DeWitt. And the linesman in the way of a clearing attempt and forces the Pats to clear the zone. They'll make changes. 7.5 in to overtime. Game 6, Seattle with a victory wins the championship. Regina hoping for a Game 7 here tomorrow. If there is one, we'll bring it to you. Mahura, who gave Regina a 2-1 lead in the third. Holmes to Slobosian, who risks it to the end glass. Austin Strand. Out of his own zone, Mahura steps up. Enser whacks it past him. Plays in and around your blue lines. So important is dropped. Run over by Lido. Drop, bounce back quickly. Stankowski, Henry centered it in front, and the responsible True was there to intercept. Alexander True against Hobbs, protects it with that big body. Hyman off the ankle of Harrison. It took a bite out of him. Steele versus Hyman. He wins the race, the Calgary defenseman, and now here comes Niles. Donovan Niles just over top of the net. Harrison laboring a little bit after blocking that shot. Henry. Hyman. Here comes Kolazar. Kolazar. Hobbs blocked it, but he lost his stick in the process. Barzell right back out with the short change. Tipped. Regina wants it clear. Can they get one? Bear, what a feed. Volkin. Brown dives on it after making a series saver.
Well, a good heads-up play by Connor Hobbs to stay in the lane. I think he was thinking, should I get my stick, which was in the corner, or should I leave the lane? He chooses to stay in the lane, and a battle off the wall ends up on the stick of Nolan Volkin. There's the quick shot. The rebound gets away from Brown a bit, but athletically he jumps on it into the slot and ends a very dangerous shift against.
Brown has stopped 34 of 37. Face-off win for the Pats. Holmes can't clear it out. Brown kicks the rebound into the corner. Enser looking for his first goal of the series. Moylinen fanned on a wraparound. Brooks was there, and the Pats look like they've iced it again. Oh, and it just rolled over the line.
Well, in moments like this, you can sense one team that's on their toes and they're going forward with their pucks and with their decisions. That's the T-Birds, and you get the sense that the Pats here are reading, reacting, and hoping a bit on their heels, backing off, and there's no question here in the first 10 of this first overtime who's been controlling most of the play.
Well, Tyler Brown is used to overtime. Remember, in Game 4 of the second round series against Swift Current, it was a marathon. It went to the middle of triple overtime. Bear blocked by the hand of Holmes, and DeWitt able to come away with it. And the Pats will look for a change. DeWitt stays out there, takes a bite out of Mahura. Kolazar, who sent it to overtime with that late power play goal. Here's Barzell. Looks like he's got lots of gas left in the tank. Backhander off the outside of the net. Good outlet. Henry, lead all. Back to Henry. And Stankowski juggles it, but hangs on.
You talk about key players and key moments, and for Seattle, when you look back at their production that they've had in the past 2 years in the final round in 10 games for Barzell, coming into tonight, 15 points and points in 9 of 10 games. How about Bear? Points in all 10 games in both years, 15 points as well. You look down the list, True. He had 7 goals in his last 2 final appearances, 11 points, and Kolesar, you can go down the list. And the core of this team, long story short, has proven that they can perform at very important times.
Yeah, Bear has just been fabulous. 7 points a year ago in the 5-game setback at the hands of the Brandon Wheat Kings, with 2 more assists. 17 points in the championship series the last 2 springs, once again to Darren.
Yeah, guys, for the Regina Pats, having their captain Adam Brooks back in the lineup is huge. 4 game-winning goals already. The brothers are fighting in front of me because they're blocking the screen time. But 4 game-winning goals. He had the overtime winner in this building back in the last round. On the other side, for Seattle, I was talking to head coach Steve Konowalchuk just about what has separated this team from last year's team that lost to the Brandon Wheat Kings in the Western Hockey League Championship. And he said he really couldn't give me an answer, just that they had been there and the experience is huge, and it's really paying dividends this spring.
What a treat it's been to work with Darren DuPont this spring. For me, the first time. Stu Walters, outstanding work in the Seattle portion of the series. Our entire crew, what a pleasure it has been to bring this set to you.
We can't forget Cam Moon, who did such a great job in the 3rd round as well. The 2nd round.
Bill Wilms. Here's Jeff DeWitt. To Adam Brooks. Back to the line in Harrison. Relays it for DeWitt. He scored the game winner in Game 6 versus Lethbridge in a clincher. Brooks is spilled. Back to Harrison, looking for a redirect. The screenshot missed. Pats with their best flurry of overtime. Enser. There he goes again. Scott Enser, a little adjustment of the helmet. He risks it on target. And Brown, top of the crease, makes his 37th save of the evening.
Well, an example of a one battle in a 50-50 puck. Watch down low. This is 200 feet away from the other end at Tyler Brown, but who comes out of that pile with the puck? Scott Enser. He doesn't have time to adjust his visor as he goes, but great tenacity, good speed out of the hole, and he takes the puck 200 feet single-handedly for a great chance. How many times have we seen that on the bench?
About 7 times a game. Talk about a guy who lays it all on the line. You don't like to play against him, but boy, you love to have him on your side. Barzell intercepts. Barzell off Kolazar Brown. A little uncomfortable, but he has it.
Well, textbook here is Barzell has the puck bobbing and weaving, and you'll see where Kolesar's going. He knows what to do. Get that big frame net front, create the screen, and you can see him open up for a rebound. There wasn't one. A nice job by Tyler Brown to make the initial save and keep away any dangerous second opportunities.
Pats control from the draw. The outlet out of the reach from Zabrowski to Henry. 41-30 shots on goal in favor of the visitors. Henry against Barzell. Zabrowski, quality find for Mahura, who has a goal and an assist tonight. Pats led 3-1 with 6:48 to go, but couldn't hang on. Seattle forced overtime. Steele trying to get loose. Here's Henry to the backhand, and it rolled off the heel of his stick.
Well, what an opportunity, and we saw the speed that we're used to seeing in the regular season from Henry in the first 3 season series. We haven't seen him flash very often, but good job by him getting onto a loose puck for a great opportunity here in the overtime.
Nick Henry, who found the net no less than 35 times during the regular season. Now it's True. Rebound, True. He scores! The Seattle Thunderbirds, for the first time in their history, are Western Hockey League champions.
Well, we talked about Alexander True and all the things that he's done coming into tonight. 11 goals. No goal more important than this one in an elimination game in the final. And a real nice job by the Seattle Thunderbirds to stick with it late in the third period. Down by 2 goals. Brock gets them within 1, and Colasar on the power play to even it up. And we'll see the breakout from the Thunderbirds as it heads up. A good play by Colasar and a set play to True, who sends it to the net. He follows up his own rebound as Brown makes the initial save, and a good job by Colasar in the neutral zone. And here's the shot. There's the rebound, and how about that for True's 12th of the postseason, the big game winner.
12:36 into overtime. The young man from Copenhagen in Denmark has ended it and propelled the Seattle Thunderbirds to the MasterCard Memorial Cup in Windsor, Ontario.
Well, what elation you saw from the Thunderbirds as he puts that goal behind Tyler Brown. The bench erupts as you would expect. Stankowski makes the skate to join his team, and after coming up shy, losing in 5 last year to the Brandon Wheat Kings in the final, Seattle has their second kick at the can, and they make no mistake here in 6 games to win this series in overtime.
Matthew Barzal, the captain. He has more hockey to play. Suffered the agonizing shootout defeat at the World Junior at the hands of the United States. But tonight, the 2012 first overall Bantam pick has helped lead the Thunderbirds to their first ever title in their 40th year of existence. And they do it in the most dramatic of fashions here in front of a heartbroken crowd at the Brandt Centre. The Pats 6:48 away from forcing game number 7. They had a 3-1 lead, but goals by Gropp and then a power play marker by Colasar with 2:54 to go sent us to extra time. And that time paved the way. Look at that respect.
You see Ethan Bear's hand all bandaged up. He showed no signs of injury after missing 3 games at the tail end of round 3. A healthy respect between him and Hobbs, the runner-up for the Defenseman of the Year, and Connor Hobbs. 2 guys that went at it and performed at a high level for their teams.
Customary handshakes. And I know, Kevin, you join me in saying it's just another thing about this great game that we love so much. Zabrowski and Gropp, a couple of New York Ranger picks right there in the middle. Scott Enzer. Well, he's truly been, I think, the driving force in this championship win. And he's with Darren Dupont.
Thanks, Pete. Thanks, Pete. Scott, describe this moment if you can.
Oh, it's pretty surreal. I mean, all these guys, I mean, Shrewsy stepped up, our whole team stepped up from the first line to the 4th line. And to come back from last year, I mean, it's undescribable. And I'm so proud of all these guys. It's just it's a surreal feeling.
You're down 3-1 as time's running down in the third period. What's going through your mind on the bench?
You know, we've been there before. Kelowna last year was one of the biggest wins of our lives. And, you know, we didn't doubt ourselves. We just said, control what we can control. Let's go and work our hardest. And made sure we put pucks in the net, and it worked out great. And we battled in overtime. I give Regina credit, an excellent team. And, geez, it was an unreal series.
You're eyeing it up. Go get one of those hats.
Thank you very much.
Pete?
A delighted Scott answer. 20-year-old from Englewood, Colorado, a dejected Pats team, a record-setting season. And Kevin, this team will play host to next year's Memorial Cup in this building. A painful way to end, but they showed us incredible resilience, wonderful skill, and for Chase Harrison, Adam Brooks, and Dawson Leadall, the road ends. But without them, they would have never been here.
A truly difficult moment, to say the least, for any junior hockey player when you know you've skated your last stride in this league, as Dawson Leadall, from our view, leaves. And if that doesn't say everything that you can see on Chase Harrison's face, 240 regular season games. Chase Harrison, a listed player, 111 points. He was plus 61 in his career. And what can you say about Adam Brooks? 317 games played, 335 points, 250 of those points in his last 2 seasons. Showed resiliency, character coming back after injuries. And Dawson Leadall, after the trade-in in the offseason from the Everett Silvertips, just 3 games shy of 300 career games in this league, 190 points. 3 guys that did a great job for their team here in Regina.
The last 2, friends from Winnipeg. Adam Brooks, 250 points in his last 2 regular seasons. A wonderful career that had some bumps early on the road. Ryan Groff with a huge goal that made it 3-2 in the third. And the Seattle Thunderbirds, in their 3rd appearance in the Western Hockey League final, have closed the deal. And there are a lot of Thunderbird supporters, all the Saskatchewan products, the Ochapoways, First Nations area so well represented by Ethan Bear. There's a Regina kid, Tyler Adams, who came over from Swift Current in a trade. The moments you'll never forget. And their season still has one more chapter left, as they'll represent the Western Hockey League and open the Western Hockey League's hope of capturing a Memorial Cup against the OHL champion Erie Otters on Saturday in Windsor. Aaron Hyman, a key acquisition by Russ Farwell, the longtime general manager who tastes a championship for the first time since 1988. There's Russ with the glasses, just moving out of our screen, when he was the architect of back-to-back Memorial Cup champions with the Medicine Hat Tigers.
And what a job Russ Farwell did in getting some key guys into the lineup after losing Jared Hoff and Jared Smith last year on the back end, 2 big key contributors. He went out and got Austin Strand from Red Deer, and what he gave up wasn't a ton. You talk about other guys that performed at high levels. Tyler Adams, he comes into the heck of a job. Aaron Hyman, 3rd round pick by Calgary, acquired for a 3rd round pick.
Let's check in with the public address announcer here at the Brandt Centre.
Eastern Conference and regular season champion Regina Pats on an outstanding season. The WHL would also like to express its sincere thanks to fans across the league for their support this season, and a special thanks to the fans in Seattle and Regina, where the Pats regiment set a franchise record with 26 sellouts and earned the right to host the 100th Memorial Cup right here at the Brandt Centre next season. The WHL would also like to express its sincere thanks to Shaw TV, who have served as the WHL cable broadcaster for the past 13 years. Shaw's extensive coverage of the Western Hockey League regular season and the WHL playoffs has allowed hockey fans across Western Canada and the United States to follow the world's finest junior hockey action. And now, for the presentation of the 2017 Western Hockey League Playoffs Most Valuable Player Award, presented by WHL Vice President of Hockey Operations, Mr. Richard Dirksen. The WHL Playoffs Most Valuable Player Award is presented to the individual judged to be the most outstanding player during all 4 rounds of the 2017 WHL Playoffs. The Most Valuable Player Award for the 2017 WHL Playoffs is Matthew Barzal of the Seattle Thunderbirds.
Matthew Barzal, mentioned earlier, #1 overall Bantam pick, 4 fabulous years, and what a way to cap off his last game in this league with a
Ladies and gentlemen, the Princess Patricia's Canadian Light Infantry, represented by Corporal Jim Sinclair and Sergeant Michael Prokop, will now bring forth the Ed Chenoweth Cup Trophy to center ice for the presentation of the WHL Championship Trophy. The Western Hockey League Championship Trophy, the Ed Chenoweth Cup, is named in honor of past WHL Chairman and President, Mr. Ed Chenoweth. Mr. Chenoweth, who has also served as President of the Canadian Hockey League, was the driving force in the growth and development of major junior hockey for over 4 decades prior to his passing in 2008. Mr. Chenoweth was inducted into the Hockey Hall of Fame in the Builder category in 2009. And now, for the presentation of the Ed Chenoweth Cup, presented annually to the WHL champions, Western Hockey League Commissioner, Mr. Ron Robinson, will now present the Ed Chenoweth Cup to co-captains of the Seattle Thunderbirds, Scott Ensor and Matthew Barzal. Ladies and gentlemen, congratulations to the 2017 WHL champions and the recipients of the Ed Chenoweth Cup, the Seattle Thunderbirds. We wish the Thunderbirds the best of luck in the 2017 Masters World Cup.
Kevin, that is what it's all about, isn't it? And it was pretty neat there to see Barzal allow Ensor to be the first one to hoist it, and now he receives his turn.
A class act, and just another example of the unity and how close this group is, and you have to be close when you consider all of the challenges and adversity that you go through to get here to win the last game in your league. Of course, they'll go on to the Memorial Cup, but what resiliency. And they are the ones that had to watch the Brandon Wheat Kings go through this ceremony 1 year ago, and you know that that's something that led to this success for this team. They wanted the taste, they got it. And they were a fantastic team through 4 rounds here in the Western Hockey League playoffs. Well done by so many.
Experience is a wonderful teacher, isn't it? And Darren is with Alexander True, who provided a moment they'll never forget in Kent, Washington.
Yeah, he sure did, Pete. Take us through the magical moment that won you guys the championship.
Get a good pass from Keegan in neutral zone. I see me and Gropp have a 2-on-1, and I only saw the net, to be honest, and tried to score, and I got the rebound and just put it in the empty net.
Can you put what this means into words? It's so big for this franchise.
No, I don't know. it's unbelievable. I don't know what to say. It's crazy.
How were you guys able to get this job done against the #1 team in the country in this series?
We just believed in ourselves. We believed in our group. We're confident in ourselves that we could win this. So that's what we did.
Have you scored a bigger goal in your life?
No.
You're going to enjoy this one for a long time.
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Guys,
the smile is true. Donovan Niles, the overtime hero in this building in Game 1 from nearby Grenfell, and the man of the hour. The captain of the Danish World Junior team. And he'll hand it off to Austin Strand, and we mentioned Russ Farwell and the job he did acquiring on the back end. Strand and Hyman, key acquisitions, Kevin.
There's no question about that. The job that they did in the defensive zone, the span, the size that they have. Austin Strand will visit the Memorial Cup tournament for 2 years consecutively.
Matthew Barzal. Well, I remember Darren watching him hoist the trophy for the Burnaby Winter Club to win the BC Bantam title. This one's a little bigger.
I can imagine that it is. They just reminisced. Peter just mentioned he remembers you hoisting the Bantam Championship. How does this one compare?
Oh, man. Oh, feels so good. I don't know, a group of guys that work harder than these guys, so to get rewarded like this, man, it's unreal. It's so rewarding.
You're getting rewarded. They were talking to during the broadcast. You've been through some tough games. A shootout loss to the United States, the World Juniors last year with this team. This one has to feel extra special.
I know. I was thinking, and before the game today, I'm so sick of losing. World Juniors was tough. Last year was tough, and to come and pull it out this year feels great. It just, I guess it's all worth it right now. It's been a tough road, but man, this is unreal.
And to cap it off, named the most valuable player of the playoffs. How does that feel?
I mean, it's nice. It's cool for about 5 seconds, and then you see the big trophy come out, and then you get to celebrate with these guys. So, wasn't my best game today, but my teammates bailed me out, and that's just what we are. We got 23, 24 guys on this team that come to play every night, and so proud of these guys.
I want to ask you about your relationship with Scott Enser. You guys are co-captains now on this team. You let him grab the trophy first. What's that relationship like in that decision there?
Yeah, we're super good friends off the ice. Sometimes you have that battle, but no, we don't have any of that. I wanted him to go take that first, take the trophy first, and he's 20 years old. He's had a hell of a career, and it's a good mix.
How much are you looking forward to now getting to the national stage and trying to win another one?
Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have fun here for a day or two, and then obviously you play to win this right now, and then you got to move forward and try to win a Memorial Cup.
Congratulations.
Thanks, buddy.
Guys?
Well, Matthew Barzal, I remember there was a time as one of the two backup goalies, Matt Berlin, hoist the trophy, where there was some uncertainty about Matthew Barzal maybe playing in the Western Hockey League. Talked about watching him lead the Burnaby Winter Club to not only the Bantam BC title, but the Western Canadian title, and some tough setbacks at the World Under-18 Championship, an absolute crushing shootout loss January 5th. But tonight, Barzal and the boys are on top. And I think if Barzal wasn't named the MVP, the young man with Darren DuPont very well may have been.
Go ahead, take your Snapchats if you want to. Enjoy this moment.
Yeah.
Has to feel pretty good, hey?
It feels amazing. We worked so hard and through so much adversity, and to win it back home in Regina and see my family and friends, and to see the love and support we get for this team, it's just phenomenal. And I don't know how to say how it feels. It feels too good.
Aside from maybe winning this thing in Kent, Washington, this probably has to be the second best place you could have done it.
Oh, it's amazing to see my family here, and to see the support, and it just feels amazing. I can't even describe it. Heads up, heads up.
All right, he's gone, guys. Got to get in the team photo.
Well, there's one you can't blame them for. And I said this earlier in the series. You know, a difference maker not only on the ice in hockey with his team, but really, Kevin, with his community. Ochapoways, First Nations, boy, they come out in groves here to support him. And what a payback on this night. Public Relations Director Ian Henry there helping. And those are the shots you live for. And to listen to Barzal and Bear and Enser, and that's what makes junior hockey so great.
Well, you can feel it in their voices, and that photo right there will be timeless, something that will take with them down their journey for the rest of their lives. And you talk about the guys that played key roles, the Ensers, the Barzals, the Bears. How about Stankowski, a rookie season as a 16-year-old, only played 7 regular season games. He only lost 2 games throughout the regular season and playoffs in regulation. They got big performances from a lot of different players, and that's what it takes to win championships, and that was a team that executed unbelievably well nightly.
Matthew Barzal has the Ed Chenoweth Cup. It's a first for the Seattle Thunderbirds. Steve Konowalchuk, the head coach, former Western Hockey League star himself. Back in the day, he'll pass it around to the coaching staff, and we'll reset. The Thunderbirds are on their way to Windsor. Barzal and the boys are headed to the MasterCard Memorial Cup. Seattle, Western Hockey League champions. More when we return from the Queen City of Regina after this. The Seattle Thunderbirds have won the Ed Chenoweth Cup in game number 6. They do it in dramatic fashion. Alexander True wins it with 7:24 remaining in the first overtime period to propel them on to the MasterCard Memorial Cup. Kevin, you played in the league. I know how proud you are of that relationship in Spokane. How'd you feel about your first chance to broadcast this series in this chair? Because it was quite a tussle, wasn't it?
Well, at times throughout, I got to be honest, I'm pinching myself, just like I did when I first stepped on the ice in this league as a player. And then I was an assistant coach in this league. Absolutely honored to be a part of those teams, and then honored to be a part of the Shaw team and the opportunities that I've been given from Grant Wilkins, the mentorship from Dave Roberts, and to work beside a true pro like you, Pete Loubardias, has been an absolute pleasure. It's the toughest thing always, anytime you're involved in any team, is saying goodbye to the game one. But the people you leave behind and say goodbye to that's always the toughest part for me, and everybody will be truly missed.
There's no question, and we'll leave the last words to our panel, but I want to say a few things. I was so fortunate 6 years ago to receive the call from Shaw, and whether, you know, Dan Russell, Bill Wilms, want to thank them. This has been year number 13, a 13-year run at Shaw where they have brought you the Western Hockey League into your living rooms, all the Western Hockey League Championship Series, and that tradition will come to an end. We are very hopeful that another group will take over, because I think having these types of games is such an incredible recruiting tool for the league and the fans of this wonderful league that I've followed since I was a little boy growing up in Saskatoon. This can't completely end. This might be a chapter that does. I could go on for nights, but I'll try my best to wrap it up before we throw it down, and that is this. Lucky enough to call my first ever Western Hockey League game in this building back in the fall of 1989. I've had a love affair with this league and will till the day I leave the earth. The people at Shaw, whether it's Ray Morrison in Saskatoon, all the people we said goodbye to. We talked about Dan Russell, Bill Wilms, tearful goodbye at the end of the last series that we brought to you. All the incredible people behind the scenes. I see Jeff Odgers down there, who I absolutely have loved dealing with. Joey Kenward, who's become one of my best friends in the business. There are so many and I want to recognize everybody. Kevin, you know what I think of you. What a pleasure. What a ride it has been. What an incredible journey to watch since I worked with you a game several years ago in Edmonton to where you've come. An incredible professional. But I want to end it this way. Andy Neal, who has hosted these games for 6 years, said it the other night, we'll say it again. If a network does not jump up and grab this guy, they're missing out. 33 years in the business, and this July, one of the finest, most talented young people I've ever had to deal with. And then to the final three. Colin McQuillan, you see all those beautiful pictures. All those beautiful pictures. Well, he has traveled. He's been a huge part behind the scenes. All the teases, all the great shots, all the low angles. Colin, we love you. You've done an amazing job. It's been incredible to get to know you. And as I said the other night at a banquet, now part of what I feel is my family, because that's how I feel about this Shaw group. To David Roberts, who has been the producer of this show, who loves what he does. He is one of the funniest people you can meet, hardworking, cares about his craft. An incredible job in that truck. And to one of my favorite people, without a doubt, the executive producer, Grant Wilkins, ties this beautiful thing up in a bow, came to me in 2011, phoned me, said, Peter, would you like to be a part of this operation? Well, it's one of the greatest things that have ever happened to me. And Grant, to everybody, I know I've missed people, my old buddy Rusty Cohn, who directed, Timmy Morton, but those three guys, Mr. McQuillan, Mr. Roberts, Mr. Wilkins, thank you so much. It's been an absolute pleasure. Good luck to the Seattle Thunderbirds, to the Regina Pats. What a spring. What a story. Hadn't been to even round 3 since 1993. What a job this organization has done, and they'll be an incredible host. And next year I'll be sitting down there or standing over there to enjoy it all in the middle of May. Well, that's it for me. Thank you so much for allowing us into your living rooms. Andy, to you.
Thank you kindly, Pete. As you know, everything that comes from you means a lot for us when you say such high things for us. And again, a bang-up job once more, as expected, in calling this. And what a celebration for the Seattle Thunderbirds in their 40th season in the Western Hockey League. They go out of it as the WHL champions. And so congrats to them. Congrats to Regina on a great year, and all the best for them next season as they host the Memorial Cup in 2018. Let's talk about the goal. Alexander True is 12th of the playoffs, and he comes through again for Seattle, Jeff.
Well, we spent a lot of time talking about Alexander True in the first intermission for good reason. You know, we talked about a depth guy who's actually the third line center on this team. And, you know, he's a guy that, you know, we talked about having a chance of getting drafted in the National Hockey League this year, all the things he does right. And you look at the team that they've built, and you can have that man, Alexander True, third line center, play in your power play, do all those things. Those are the guys that make championship teams and give you the depth to do what you do. You know, Matthew Barzal said it. You know, I didn't have my best game tonight, but the guys bailed me out. And Alexander True is one of those guys that stepped up and had one of the games of his life.
Here's, again, a look at the series and championship clinching, winning overtime goal. And Alexander True in these WHL playoffs, and especially in this finale, brought his game to another level. Finishes off with 12 goals in the postseason. In this series alone, 4 goals and 2 helpers. And how about that guy on the right? Matthew Barzal. Can you believe this? This was the only game of these WHL playoffs that he didn't hit the score sheet, but well deserving to take home the MVP of the Western Hockey League playoffs. You just tend to wonder, guys, what we'd be talking about if we saw him fully, completely healthy over 3+ seasons, and even fully, completely healthy in these WHL playoffs. He is a very, very special player that has such a bright future ahead of him. And you know what? I'll guarantee you, he's going to get points at the MasterCard Memorial Cup starting next weekend. That is one of the best players of his generation in the Western Hockey League.
And how special is that shot alongside Ethan Bear? And let's not forget, and Pete mentioned this, that there was some speculation on what direction Matt Barzal was going to go when he went first overall in the 2012 WHL Bantam draft. But when you look back on that draft, and Russ Farwell, the general manager of the Thunderbirds, and that crew of scouts for the T-Birds, their first 3 picks, Barzal, Keegan Colasar, and Ethan Bear. That's a pretty good trio to have. And Donovan Niles was an 8th round pick as well. And you think about the Bantam drafts, we just had it a couple weeks ago in Calgary, and how important a role it plays. And before you get to that, Jeff, sorry, Steve's ready, Dave? Okay, let's hear from the head coach, Steve Konowalchuk, with Darren Dupont.
Thanks, Andy. Steve, you're already tie off. You're celebrating. This has to feel pretty good.
I'm worn out. I guess I'm supposed to be, just like the players. It's unbelievable feeling to see that goal go in and how hard these guys work. They work so hard. It's unbelievable.
I asked you before the game. You couldn't really give me an answer, but what's so special about this group that maybe you didn't see last year?
Well, I mean, we're down 3-1. It's been the story of our year. We're down 3-1. I think everybody thought we were done tonight, but they didn't. They kept going. We've had so much stuff that's happened throughout the year. Guys have stepped up all year long, never quit. And I think to be a champion, that's what you got to have. You got to have, and they played it out till the end. And when it's 3-1 again, they could have hung their heads and waited for tomorrow, but they got it done.
We continue to be amazed by your 16, well now 17-year-old goaltender. You're shaking your head right now. Yeah. How does he continue to get the job done for you?
He battles, man. He's a good hockey. He has good hockey sense and moves real good in that net, and he battles, and he's a confident kid, and he just doesn't get rattled. And boy, what a ride for him, and we wouldn't be here without him.
You lose a key piece tonight in Turner Ottenbright fairly early in the hockey game. How much does that speak to the leadership of the group you have?
It's again 3-1, lose a guy. We've lost guys all year. And just guys get out there and play. You know what? It's a true team. We have talented players, no doubt. You don't win without a lot of talent, but it's a true team from the guy that gets 1 minute to the Matt Barzal who plays 25 a night. What a team! It's just been all about the team.
That's the guy I was going to ask you about next, the MVP of the playoffs.
Well, he's capable. He's capable. He's unbelievable. He wants to win so bad. He's such a competitive player, and you see his skill level and his talent level, but he's compete. And you want to build your team around guys like that when the game's on the line want to be out there, have their puck on their stick, and that's him. I'll go to any battle anytime with Matt.
Now you got to get set to head out to Windsor for the national stage. How do you get this team ready on short order?
We got to talk about that now. We're going to enjoy tonight, but you know what? We've enjoyed our victories along the way. I think it's part of it. These guys raised the trophy before we got here. Enjoy the victories, but then turn a page. It's all part of it. It's too long of a journey if you can't enjoy some of your success. They got to enjoy it here and have a lot of fun here for a day or two. But then, hey, we got other goals here as well.
Well said, Coach. Enjoy it now.
All right. Thank you.
Here's Steve Konowalchuk. Andy?
All right, thanks very much, Darren. We were talking about the draft, and Jeff, you wanted to chime in.
That's really a tribute to their scouting staff to be able to put, lots of times your top 3, if you can hit 1, maybe 2, but to hit all 3 and then pick up a guy like Donovan Niles. And, for an organization to believe in a guy like Carl Stankowski, he is not your normal goaltender. He's not 6'3" with a big frame. And he's just an athletic guy that competes, and somebody in that organization has to see that in him. You have to have an eye for talent and an eye for hockey people.
Cal Phillison, for the last couple of years, has been their director of player personnel, the head scout, if you will. A guy that deserves a ton of credit, and I'm not sure where he's watching tonight, but I'll guarantee you he's watching from a distance, is a current Pittsburgh Penguins scout by the name of Colin Alexander. And he was the gentleman in charge of many, many drafts spanning close to 2 decades with the Thunderbirds. And we're talking, you mentioned, Barzal, Colasar, Gropp, the list goes on. And then his last draft was Carl Stankowski's draft. And you look at that kid smiling ear to ear. The scouts do not get nearly the credit that they deserve to find the players to play in the best junior hockey league in the world. A tip of the cap to them. For both organizations, they've done a fantastic job to make such a wonderful WHL finale.
So now the question begs, how will Seattle do in Windsor? They start off with the OHL champion Erie Otters. Erie and Mississauga both #1 in their respective leagues during the regular season, and the Windsor Spitfires, who haven't played since Game 7 of the opening round against the London Knights.
The thing I like about Seattle's team is they're going in healthy. You know, they're going in with a full squad, and they have depth. They really do. You know, I don't care who you are across Canada, the junior hockey team, the Seattle Thunderbirds have 3 lines that can play with anybody. They got a big defense that's mobile. And I think they're going to surprise a lot of teams with their mobility. And they got an underdog in Carl Stankowski. You know, I think a lot of people are going to maybe take him a little bit lightly coming in. But you know what? You look at their depth, you look at the defense, and you know what I love about this team? Their compete level. You can tell this team competes. They play hard. They don't give you an inch. And by the way they play, they believe in each other.
And the one thing that the Thunderbirds showed, not only in this series, but in all 4 rounds of the WHL playoffs, they were even keel the whole way through. They played pretty much the same way start to finish. And I know for many of you viewers, you only saw them in this WHL Championship against Regina. They were a consistent group over the last number of weeks, not only in the Pacific Northwest, but across Western Canada. They're well deserving. And one other final note, we were sitting down at ice level here at our WHL Central location, and after the players were hoisting the trophy, each and every one of them skated off the ice, ran off to the bench, down the tunnel to the dressing room. And I'm saying, guys, don't you know you're going to have a ceremonial photo with the trophy? All those kids were going to grab their cell phones, and I'd be willing to bet you one of the first people they were calling Mom. Happy Mother's Day out there to the T-Birds moms, who many of which I'm sure are here. A lot of us are watching across Canada and across the Pacific Northwest. That's an ideal Mother's Day gift for any mom of those T-Birds players.
Absolutely. Well, the Seattle Thunderbirds, for the first time in their 40-year history, are the WHL champions. They win 4-3 in overtime in Game 6, take the series 4 games to 2 here on 11 Machinery, WHL on Shaw, Access, and this TV. Back in Regina, where the Seattle Thunderbirds are celebrating the WHL Championship, winning Game 6 in overtime, and with 28 saves tonight, his 16th win of the playoffs, goaltender Carl Stankowski with Darren Dupont.
Thanks, Andy. How do you describe this moment? You were just looked a little bit in awe a few moments ago.
Yeah, I can't believe it. It's incredible. No words. No words.
Did you ever think early in the year that this is where you'd be come spring?
No. I can't believe it.
How were you able to remain so calm, especially when the team goes down 3-1 in the third period, and maybe some people were counting you guys out tonight?
You know, our boys, they're relentless. They don't give up, and I knew they were gonna score. I love those guys.
We're getting a good group of the Saskatchewan contingent. How much of a local feel do you guys get here being in Regina?
Yeah, man, it's crazy. So much family here, and our fans are great. You hear them every single rink we go to, so it helps a lot.
How much do you feel you've grown during this journey?
Yeah, I'm just trying to take it all in and learn, and yeah, it's awesome. I love it.
Are you ready for Windsor?
Yeah.
Better. Have you called your mom today?
Yeah, I talked to her this morning. She's just up there right now, so I'll have to go give her a hug, and so I love her.
Good stuff. Go do that, and we'll go throw it back to Andy Neal.
Thanks very much, Darren, and congrats to Carl Stankowski. A little bit of Ken Dryden, who won the Conn Smythe before he won the Calder in 71-72. He won the Conn Smythe in the 71 Stanley Cup for Montreal, but what a performance from the 16-year-old, 28 saves again tonight. And Seattle the champs in the overtime, but he made some big saves again to help Seattle to the victory.
We're not going to disclose how old we are, but just watching that kid, we're really old. Boy, what a performance he put on. And a clutch performance when he needed to. For the first time in this series, he was beaten on a breakaway. Austin Wagner scoring to make it 3-1, and you just felt the vibe in this building was as high as it's been all series long, and he didn't get rattled at all, and he didn't let another one in. He made some big saves down the stretch in regulation, but he got a pretty good push from the team in front of him, and that's all you want if you're a goaltender. If you're looking up the scoreboard with a handful of minutes left and your team's trailing, you just A, want to close the door, but B, you want the guys in front of you to get the job done. Both happened tonight.
You know, a lot of guys are handpicked for this job. You know, they're either traded for or they're brought in, been through the organization. They're a 19, 20-year-old, and they say, you know what, this is our time to make a run with this goaltender. Well, Carl Stankowski played 7 regular season games. You know, he was the backup, played 7 regular season games, really never seen himself playing a playoff game, then comes in, goes on an unbelievable run, wins his first 9 games in a row, only loses 2 games the whole playoff season in regulation, and just acts like it's not a big deal. And he said, no, I knew my guys were going to score. Like, it's just how calm he is. I know we did an interview before when here in Game 2, and I'm just amazed at his personality and how even-keeled he can be.
I know he's not thinking about this right now, but the way he has played, not only in the WHL final, but through 4 rounds of the Western Hockey League playoffs, he has put himself into the conversation to be on Hockey Canada's radar for the upcoming Ivan Halinka tournament that features the best under 18 players in the world. And although he will have a lot of competition across our great country when it comes to good up-and-coming goaltenders, his performance in this series alone definitely has to give him a real good chance to wear the maple leaf, but he's got other things to worry about before that.
Turned 17 just a couple of months ago, and for Seattle, they are the champs for the first time. The Regina Pats were trying to end their drought, but they didn't. They lose in 6, but this is a team that's hosting the MasterCard Memorial Cup next year. What about next season for the Regina Pats, who not only built for this year, but next year in mind as well?
Well, really, this whole experience is invaluable. Not very often is a team that's hosting the Memorial Cup the following season get a chance to play in a league final. You know, as an organization, as a coach, as a general manager, you learn so much about your personnel. You know, there's a lot of guys in that room that show you more than what you thought you had. And you're going to have some guys that don't show you what you thought you were going to see. So to have this experience, have these young guys go through this, and as an organization, kind of get a feel for what you have, you know, it's really going to help in your planning for next year when you're hosting Memorial Cup.
You look at what the Seattle Thunderbirds just did as well. They knew what it took to get to the next level based on what they experienced last year in a WHL Championship. That was a huge factor, guys, going into this series. The fact that they knew what it was like to play in May. They knew how hard it was to play playoff hockey at this time of year. That experience proved to be very valuable the last 2 weeks in order for them to hoist the Ed Chanel Cup. And although it's 12 months away, the players that will return to that Pats locker room next year, no matter where they go in the regular season and the playoffs, they know full well that what they've experienced, albeit in a losing cause, can only prove to be very valuable when they play host to the 100th edition of the Memorial Cup next May.
Well, gents, it's been an absolute pleasure getting to know both of you. Jeff Odgers, Kevin Sawyer, tough guys on the ice, but extreme gentlemen off it. It's been great. Joey Kenward, I took over for you in 2011, and it's been an absolute thrill to do it with both of you guys here.
And it's been an unbelievable honor to have Andy Neal as our host over the last number of years. He's based out of Victoria, BC. He's got to travel to all parts of Western Canada and the Pacific Northwest to do a bang-up job as our regular and wonderful host of the WHL on Shaw. So a big congrats to you as well, Andy.
Thank you kindly. That 5:45 a.m. flight though tomorrow. We're really looking forward to that one, but it is happening. You know, on this Mother's Day, I got to say happy Mother's Day to my wife, Sarah, who's been basically home by herself with 3 kids for 6 weeks, aside from a 24-hour break. So happy Mother's Day to all the moms. But all good things must come to an end, and this is a great one. We've had so much fun covering this league for you. Peter Labardius went through all the names. I'm thinking Kirk Fraser as well, who did a bang-up job in the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. Also Ray Morrison in Saskatoon, people from the past like Alana Nolan in Calgary, Dave Thomas, who's calling games in lacrosse in Saskatoon, and they were not just part of the crew, but part of the family as well. And it's been a hell of a run for 13 years. The WHL on Shaw started off, and Dave Roberts, who was in this chair when it started out in the 2003 championship, producer who's been so big for me professionally, and Grant Wilkins, so much thanks for him, our producer. It was his phone call that got me involved in Colin McQuillan, and those 3 part of from day one, the WHL on Shaw. And Peter Labardius, got to mention him again, how much he's meant to us personally, professionally. Kevin Sawyer, who's standing here also. It's been an absolute treat, and we really appreciate as well the fans and your appreciation of having the WHL have a platform through Western Canada and the United States. Thanks so much for watching. Congrats to the Seattle Thunderbirds, WHL champions. Good night from Regina.
A great pace to start round number 2 as we hit the 3-minute mark. A goal! They score! Carl Elsner jumps on the puck.
Moving on to the Oil Kings. Edmonton, of course, is in their first year in the league.
Shot taken by Nigan.
his way through and scores! Lazar! They keep it in. Long rolling puck, pass in front, nice move! They score! Cunningham ends the game! Craig Cunningham ends it! The marathon is over!
A nice play by 16-year-old Kozin. Keep his feet moving, takes off puck hard to the net.
There's a centering pass, they score! Postma jumps into the rush, and just like that, Calgary regains the lead. Goes around the back of the net, throws it in front, they score!
Royal to the line, not out, Wood, Kirkland makes a move, shoots, scores! Justin Kirkland with 2/10 of a second to go.
Another chance at the side of the net, Moeller in front, score!
For Sutter. Shoots and scores! They make it look easy. I was just about to say, is it just me or do I hear the Jaws theme in my head?
The second period and then the beginning of the third period. That's a
Save, rebound, hard at the skate, Trulay scores! Calvert trying to break free, Calvert shorthanded right in, score! Calvert scores! It's another shorthanded goal! 40 seconds to go in the Calgary power play, and away they go again. Shed with Calvert, Shed, hold it to Calvert, score! How about that? Unbelievable!
That is absolutely mind-boggling. I've never seen anything like it.
Thank you very much for that. We're getting ready for the third period of a championship game, and they throw that at us.
And I think once it gets up around the face area,
I think there's a message being sent here. I mean, we've had Game 7 overtime. We couldn't decide it. We had a logo problem at the end. We can't decide it. Now we got fog. I'm still thinking it's co-winners or let's come back tomorrow.
co-winners.
Bosch and Mahachik battle, and here comes Bosch. Bosch with speed. Bosch shooting, score!
Rockets get a power play late in the first. Shea Weber takes a shot. The puck is sitting on the goal line. And Troy Bodie comes in and pokes it home. The ref has an ideal look at it. It's a goal, 2-0 Rockets.
Stop it right there. Look, it's just a fraction of a second. That's all it took. Bailey gets there late, and the puck's in the back of the net.
Reinhardt, good chance to score, and he does! Bozon puts it at the net, they're hammering it, and they score!
Chance for the ice, they score! Here's Cody Eek, and he does it again.
Hardly planned at all. Ray coming across the number of Troy Crowley is one of the energy makers here for the Flames.
Brett Palin, 5 years with the Kelowna Rockets.
I don't think a lot of people expected this, to be perfectly honest with you. They thought next year.
Congratulations to your 2007 WHL champions.
Congratulations to the 2007.
Yes, 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 give it to him. This one's for you, Dad.
20th through 29.
What a feeling, huh?
We wish your Oil Kings the best of luck at the MasterCard Memorial Cup. Congratulations.
Take it away, it's all yours, and Griffin, you kiss it and you lift it because you are a champion. There you have it. For the third time in team history, they hoist the Western Hockey League Championship trophy